Donut sticks.
He's ready. He brought me some as well, I think, believe it or not.
What do you get? Do you got some food in there?
Yeah, bro.
And donut sticks is a bonus?
It's dessert. You know what I'm saying? It's the way of life.
What is a donut stick? Is that like the glazed?
It's a donut made into a stick.
Come on, Brent. Think about it.
Is that like you get it Dunkin' Donuts? Right?
No, but thanks for exposing me. I picked that up at the Wah.
No, I know, but it's like the one you get at Dunkin' Donuts.
It's nothing like it. Dunkin' Donuts actually has quality food that I get over there. Wawa is more like heated trash that I'm picking up over.
Bro,
I'm so mad at this
He's so
place.
mad at them right now.
Time out. That's not Wawa brand. So easy who
right,
you're hitting
fine.
on, all right?
I'm just saying, I stood in that place for 25 minutes for 2 sandwiches, and everyone looked at me like I was there to, like, talk chess or something. Like, what are you possibly doing here, sir, with a receipt in your hand, waiting so patiently?
What would you guess? Like if you were in the Wawa line, right? And it's taken a little bit to get your food. What would you guess Aaron is and does for a living?
A cop. Just looking at me. I'm trying to get people in trouble, maybe.
A little bit.
What would I guess Aaron does for a living?
Yeah.
Something very unsexy, right?
Oh.
Something that you wouldn't talk about at parties.
Wow.
Something that you just don't discuss would be my guess.
I am a spelling bee coach.
No, because that's a conversation starter.
You know what I think? Like you could be like a wrestling coach. You've always looked like a wrestler to me.
Yeah, like an undersized bouncer.
Yeah,
Like
no,
a
that's
bouncer
a
who
good
couldn't
one.
quite cut it.
That's a good
Undersized
one.
bouncer, yeah.
No, like
That's good.
a security guard that's like not needed, right, in a place.
You were, yeah, that's right. Like here.
Yeah, like
pointless
yes, exactly. Like,
He's the security guard
Yes.
outside our building.
Just waits to us every day.
And
and if there's real trouble afoot, Aaron will push the civilians in the way to get away.
you
Push 911 on the phone is what I'm going to push. Get me out of here.
It's like he is he's the bouncer at Roadhouse before they got Patrick Swayze.
Listen, Sam, what's his name? Sam something? That guy
No,
was,
Sam's the other dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Sam's like the old vet.
like I haven't seen that movie in like 2 decades
Oh,
now.
it's
But
so
you know
good.
they're coming out with a new version.
Are they really?
They're redoing it,
Nah, it's
yeah.
not going to be good.
No, not really. But they're doing it.
I mean, you better have one good sex scene up there in that
Some
loft.
lead, yeah.
I mean, that is good. Like, seriously, that sounds good. Brent and friends on ESPN. So I think we're onto something here, man. Like, what would Aaron be?
Let us know in the chat. What do you think Aaron could possibly be if his job wasn't radio expert, highly rated morning show host?
Now, look, don't let the sexy good looks, the steely blue eyes, and the smart mouth fool you. I don't know what the rest of that was. I pretty much gave up halfway
But
through
anyway,
that
you know,
sentence.
when I used to go to Dunkin' Donuts as a kid, especially because we have them in every corner in Rhode Island.
Me too, dog, yeah.
Well, like the glazed stick was a thing. Do they still have it?
I
Like
haven't seen it in a
no, I don't
while.
think they
No,
do
you
the
know
sticks
what? I haven't.
They
I
don't
haven't
do
seen
that?
those, no.
No.
Really?
No.
Because I'd order them.
That was good, man. Because they used to have one that jelly as well, but one that was glazed.
I would eat the
So
jelly
they had two
one.
different ones.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing I
A lot
don't
of people
understand.
don't like jelly donuts. I like jelly donuts.
Love
No,
jelly
they're gross.
donuts.
They're
Why?
gross. I like jelly, grape jelly outside. Like you throw it on like a biscuit or something. I'm all for it. Grape jelly. I'm here.
Yeah.
I recently
you put
saw
it in
a
a
report
donut. Not a
that
chance.
had the jelly listed as like top 3 nationally.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, but-
I feel like I hear so many people that don't like that.
Well, they stopped making them for a little bit during the pandemic. It was one of the weirdest days. I showed up in the drive-thru and they were like, "We don't make ham sandwiches anymore, and we don't have jelly donuts." And I was like, "Was this a decision from the top? Was anyone going to let us know?"
I've had this conversation before, okay?
With me?
No.
Because I'm saying I've had it with a lot of people.
But I've done this before, but, well, you're going to have to soak it up right now. We'll talk football. We got Tony Khan on.
Fair
We
enough.
got a big show lined up.
Sitting here
the
wasting
fa-
time on
when
donuts.
when I go home to Rhode Island, and they make this in Rhode Island and only some locations in Massachusetts. And you got to remember now, I'm not a chocolate fan. Like, I don't like chocolate, like a chocolate donut, chocolate
you like
fudge.
trail mix and soup.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff. But you know the chocolate covered donut,
Yeah.
right? Just regular frosting
donut.
over the regular,
Hole in
like
the middle, yeah.
yeah. And they put what we call back home in Rhode Island chocolate jimmies.
Never heard of this.
You never heard what chocolate jimmies are? Well, there's chocolate sprinkles.
Okay.
That's what they call them back in Rhode Island.
Jimmies?
Yes.
Who are they named after?
I don't know. But
Jimmy V?
I don't know the
Everything's named
origin.
after Jimmy V in the in New England.
But anyway, that's what they call it. And so the chocolate sprinkles on top of the frosting.
okay.
All right. Well, if you go to any donut shop, as Dunkin' Donut shop in the country, you can get a chocolate covered donut with the rainbow sprinkles.
Yeah, you can't get the chocolate sprinkles
But you
on it.
can't get the chocolate sprinkles. And the difference is phenomenal. And I'm not even a chocolate guy. When I go home, I eat at least a dozen of those in a 3-day stretch.
In a 3-day stretch.
No, I'm telling you, it's like
step
a
up your
thing.
game, Brent.
Like you go get clam chowder, you get chocolate Jimmy Donuts.
Any lobster?
Of course.
All
But
right.
that's on the list.
Okay.
And but what I don't understand is why they don't have it everywhere else.
I don't really understand
you
the
ask
point
your
to
people?
sprinkles, to be honest with you. I hate I don't get it. You want to talk about useless? I look like a useless kid bouncer or something like that. What about sprinkles? They don't taste like anything. They don't do anything. You got chocolate
These
jimmies all over
sprinkles
your
do it.
donuts.
These sprinkles do it.
What do
It
they
makes
taste like?
it
Chocolate?
way better. Yes, it just makes it better.
So you say that the chocolate-covered chocolate donut is better when you put chocolate-flavored sprinkles on it.
So much. Not even
Okay.
close, man.
Look, I'll take your word for it.
And it's a thing in Rhode Island. Why do they only do it in Rhode Island? Like, why would they only? It's not like they've discontinued it in Rhode Island. They know it's a thing. Yeah, I guarantee you, if you ask your folks at Dunkin' Donuts, it is probably the hottest seller in Rhode Island.
I don't get it.
And I don't understand why they don't have it anywhere else. There was one time at 210, I think the guy that owned the franchise at 210
I know him very well. I've been there
had
many
some New
times.
England roots. I don't
Okay.
know if it's the same
Did he
person
make
still.
jimmies,
And he
chocolate
made
jimmies?
it. I went in there one time and he had them, or she. They had them, and I
then
got
the-
them.
and
And
then the
then
next
I've never
day-
seen them since.
Next day, he had a black eye, broken shoulder. They came and had a talk with him.
I mean, it's the crazy. It sounds so stupid.
It does. You're actually correct.
I know it, but why? I can't get the answer.
Well, now I got to figure this out.
I need somebody way in deep at Dunkin' Donuts
we
to
need
give
answers,
me the answer.
people.
Thank you.
Chocolate covered
Glad I
jimmies.
got that off my chest. That's like a once a year thing. And anybody who's from Rhode Island
Knows
or
exactly what you're
southeastern
talking about.
Massachusetts and has been and had, you know what I'm talking about. And you can't find it anywhere else.
But different areas have those different little nooks and crannies of food, you know.
Hey, what donut does Dunkin' Donuts have that you can't get in Texas that you can get in Florida? Like, it's not one of those
Yeah,
things.
usually in franchise, you don't see McDonald's with like a special burger for Jacksonville.
Exactly. Good
you know?
point.
Well,
You're welcome for the Dunkin' Donuts. Martino, Kasey, Kurtz, Aaron Schachter. We got Tony Khan. Big conversation coming up with Tony in just a bit. We have AEW Rampage. Fulham's actually playing as we speak.
What's going on
And
for him?
Jags put the big one against the Giants. And so we asked about analytics. We asked a little bit about keeping Trent bulky. This is a pre-recorded conversation we just did earlier this afternoon, so we don't want to mislead anybody. But that's coming up in just a few minutes. And we've got a big show lined up as the Jacksonville Jaguars really need a win to get back on the right track. I mean, I keep coming back to this game as like I do believe the NFL works in funny ways that the Jags are going to win. I also go back and look at the numbers like, well, the Jags almost should win if you look at some of these numbers. Some of it doesn't make sense. I did more number searching yesterday, guys. The Giants are giving up 5.6 yards per carry.
yeah,
It's the worst in the NFL.
they're getting gashed. That is not a great defense right now.
You know what else is funny? Like, I thought their front was really, really good. Like, their front's pretty good.
It's offense or defense?
Defense.
Okay.
They've got like 13 sacks. It's not even close to like the league high. They have one interception on the year. Now, here's the one metric that they are better than everybody else. Is this luck? Are they making this happen? They have 7 fumbled recoveries in the first 6 games.
Wow.
That leads the NFL.
Yeah.
So they're getting some timely turnovers. But I can't get over the run. Like, we're talking about Saquon Barkley. I mean, maybe this week we should be talking about Travis Etienne, James Robinson, JaMychal Hasty.
They're the answer,
because
yeah.
5.6 yards, like, how do you not just go right back to the well of what worked last week if you're Doug Peterson, if you look at what the Giants are not that great at?
I think this is what people are seeing, though, when they look at the Giants and they're like, is this a real team or not? And wondering if they're a fraud. It's hard to call a 5-1 team a fraud, but you're right. You look at those numbers, you look at how they played their opponents, and, void of Saquon Barkley and maybe some amazing offensive line play from a few guys on the team, literally just 2 guys, like there's not much else to be really excited about on that Giants team. But the work that, say, the advantage Saquon Barkley gives you is pretty stout. I was looking at this number today, Brent. Tell me if you heard this. As far as play action pass and play fakes, second highest play action rate in the NFL, and Danny Dimes tied as the highest graded play action passer with a 91.3 grade.
Wow.
91.3. When have you ever thought that Daniel Jones would be graded 91.3 in anything outside of like chemistry?
That is a great sign of what Daboll's doing. He's putting them in position. If you go back to Blake Bortles a little bit that year, they did a great job. What did they do? They established a run with Fournette, so that play action worked. Well, the Jags do a little bit less of that because they kind of like to throw it outside and all those things. They're setting up Daniel Jones for success, but it all comes back to Saquon Barkley. Mike Caldwell had the best quote, and all he said today when asked about their offense and Daniel Jones, what they're doing, like what have they been doing well, he said 26.
That's
26. That was his quote. And it's really interesting to see because, again, I said this to Kasey earlier the week, Saquon Barkley's been, like, invisible to me for the last few years. We heard coming out of Penn State, and he was like, whoa. He was Zion Williamson.
Rookie year, amazing.
Well, Zion Williamson just put up, 25 last night?
That's a big deal.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, welcome back this year in the 6 games. He's got defensive coordinators losing sleep.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of guy. The jump cuts they mentioned, the ability to be explosive. He can still run free. He can catch the football. I mean, he is that guy that we expected. Just haven't seen it over the last few years because of injury.
Think about this roster. Well, what wide receiver can you name on the Giants without studying the depth chart? I mean, there's nobody on that team that they're utilizing. And Daniel Jones is literally having a near identical season to last year when they won 4 games total.
Yeah,
5 games right now.
They're winning clutch in the moment. They're making big plays when you have to make plays. They've got Saquon Barkley doing his thing, and he's a threat. But they don't jump out in any phase of the game, really, as a football team. We'll be back, Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Tony Khan conversation coming up next.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunny and cool, but nice today. The highs will reach around 70 this afternoon. Back down into the lower 40s. It'll be chilly tonight. And then a sunny and really nice day tomorrow. Your Friday high around 75. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Save thousands on buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 23rd.
Winning is in the cards at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, and a sports bar, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Play in the $60 no-limit hold'em tournaments on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Or try our game tables like 1-card poker, 3-card poker, and Ultimate Texas Hold'em. You can also watch your favorite football games with the NFL Sunday Ticket at our sports bar. Visit Best Bet St. Augustine, located at 800 Marketplace Drive in St. Augustine, Florida.
Don't miss the gun show at the Clay County Fairgrounds featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more with concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Clay County Fairgrounds in Green Cove Springs this Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
Do you make a purchase just because it's cheap? Never, right? So why would you ever purchase a do-it-yourself security system just because it's cheap? Right now, some companies say you can buy a refurbished one for a whopping $206. Refurbished means the last family found it unacceptable, and now they want to pawn it off on you. And that's more upfront money than SafeTouch security charges for their Advantage package, which includes a two-way communicator. And the SafeTouch system includes free installation by SafeTouch professionals. After all, you're the least experienced security installer you know, right? SafeTouch gives you 24/7 UL-approved monitoring in their very own central station right here where you live. So the do-it-yourself system has cheap, non-professional equipment, comes with no Florida license, and wholesale who-knows monitoring. SafeTouch Security comes with the finest equipment available, certified installers, and monitoring right here in Florida, with a lifetime warranty on parts and labor. Call 888-723-8682 or visit safetouch.com today. State license number EF0000233.
Buying or leasing a car in Jacksonville is the best with Fields Auto Group, Jacksonville's luxury auto group. Lexus of Jacksonville and Orange Park, Mercedes-Benz of Jacksonville, Orange Park, Jaguar Land Rover, Jacksonville, Porsche, Jacksonville, Fields Cadillac, Jacksonville, and St. Augustine. If the luxury car you want isn't in stock, Fields Auto Group will order it. And at Fields, you'll never be charged over sticker price. Stop by a Fields store today and see what world-class service really means. Fields is a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fields Auto Group, fieldsauto.com.
Do you have what it takes to become a successful entrepreneur? How much do you know about marketing, finance, and business planning? Are you interested in learning more? Then we invite you to take part in the Achieve Your Business Dream workshop offered by SCORE in conjunction with the Jags Chamber. Conducted over 4 consecutive weeks, this workshop provides invaluable information on a range of business-related subjects. If you'd like to learn more about how to enroll the next time this workshop is scheduled or any of the others that SCORE offers, visit the Take a Workshop tab at jacksonville.score.org.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-326-7765 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-326-7765. That's 800-326-7765. What do you have to lose? Call 800-326-7765. Again, 800-326-7765.
Week 7 fantasy football picks fueled by Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. Dak Prescott returns, and you could play him, but how about a receiver that might benefit? Dallas's Michael Gallup could see more work and more productivity with the return of Dak. And this one's a big-time sleeper, but Tampa's Cameron Brate at tight end is hurt. So what about Cade Otton? Could you see a situation where Tom Brady gets Cade Otton a couple of touchdowns? Hey, you might want to give it a flyer. My picks fueled by Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Are you ready for a scary good deal? Then get to Arlington Toyota for the Ghost Your Payments event and watch your payments like a ghost disappear. How about no payments until 2023 on your new Toyota purchase? Arlington will even waive your last 6 lease or loan payments. Got a trade? Arlington will pay up to MSRP for your trade. You'll also get no maintenance costs for 4 years. It's the Ghost Your Payments event going on now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/October for full detail.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, welcome back to Brent and Friends here on ESPN 690. That means Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz, and joined by a man with so many titles. Now that Tony Khan joins us here on ESPN 690 and making rounds this week ahead of a big AEW event back in Jacksonville at Daly's Place. He is the AEW CEO / GM. He is the Fulham Vice Chairman of Director of Football Operations, General Manager, and Sporting Director as well. And he is Senior Vice President of Football and Technology at Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm
Tony
actually the
Khan.
Chief Football Strategy Officer.
Is that what the title is now?
This is a big business card now.
I've been the Chief Football Strategy Officer for a few years now. So, yeah.
How do you keep track of all the titles?
It's a lot. And I'm also the owner of True Media and the chairman of True Media Networks, which is one of the largest providers of sports analytics in the world. It's a great time to talk about what we do there because we service most of the Major League Baseball teams, over about 25 now, or over 20 of the Major League Baseball teams, and do a lot of work for ESPN, football, baseball, and soccer. So here at ESPN, one of our great partnerships, doing all of the analytics you see on TV. If you're watching, for example, baseball, they'll show the 3x3, the hot and cold zone.
Yeah,
And I know you're a big baseball guy, Brent. So the heat maps, the red and blue, that's all generated out of the True Media system. And here at ESPN, there are literally probably over 600 users of True Media. So a great sports analytics company, and do a lot of work here locally with the Jaguars and with the NFL, and also in European football in England. And so that's another to add to the title and business card list, in addition to the Jaguars and AEW and Fulham.
Which is awesome, by the way. You know, analytics kind of got you into all this. Obviously, then you and your dad buy the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it started with a lot of analytic influence, and then boom, now you got the wrestling, and you're making moves in Fulham. I mean, how crazy is it that this has evolved for you personally into what you're doing?
It's really been an amazing journey that started here in Jacksonville with the Jaguars. And right before we started recording today, you and I were just saying, I've known you almost a dozen years now, and it's pretty crazy that I came in. This is now my 11th season working in the NFL, and my family came to Jacksonville, and I was somebody who loved sports stats my entire life, and we've been really fortunate. I've been able to come in and bring some analytics, and it took a long time to build it, but we have gotten to the point where we've been able to identify players, some really valuable players that went undrafted over the years at the Jaguars, players that used to be with us like Corey Grant, Jared Wilson, Mike Hilton's one who's a really good player in the NFL who got out of here. I wish we would have kept, but then there's so many great players, I think, that really, when you look through the draft process, there are always some hidden gems, and there's still some players on the team right now. James Robinson, Trey Herndon are players that, you know, I've called and signed up as free agents. So that was pretty cool. And it was really great. And I love doing that at the Saturday of the NFL draft every year, but also week to week. It's really cool working with Doug and the staff here. We have really good analytics people, and I used to be in the office all week doing it with a small group, and now we have a much bigger group. And Doug, with his experience, was already doing a lot of this with the Eagles. So Doug is one of the most analytics-driven coaches in the NFL. So it's been a really close connection. Trent, also at the 49ers, was one of the most analytics-driven personality minds in the NFL, really. Trent had worked with NFL top analytics people. When I first came in to Jacksonville in 2011, ahead of my dad officially closing the transaction in 2012, Trent had already been working for years with Parag on analytics in San Francisco and learning advanced statistics and how to apply them to his decision-making. And again, Doug in Philadelphia had great success applying analytics into his coaching, and they're both just great at what they do. And I think it's been a really good connection, and I just really enjoy working with the three of us under my dad, and I think it's become tangible in the results, but also especially in the improvement that you can see in the team year over year, where we are at this point in the season this year versus last year and the year before that, really in the last several years. I think the talent level is far ahead, and also, even though it hasn't all translated to wins, there's been games where we've been really competitive, where we've had chances to win, and I think it's going to come. And, you know, sitting with Trent, watching every single game, and then catching up with Doug after the games, you know, we see the progress. And Trent and I have been sitting here watching the games for years and watching them together. And I think we have seen the team grow and get so much better. And I think it's really cool. And my dad has worked so hard to build a consistent winner here in Jacksonville. I think he deserves this. So it's awesome.
Tony Khan with us. I want to talk more football, but let's get talking some AEW and Rampage and meet and greet coming up, actually, like in a short time. Do you enjoy that part of it, the meet and greet and what goes into this big production back in Jacksonville at Daly's Place?
Well, it's just so great to be back in Jacksonville at Daly's Place. We have this meet and greet today ahead of a big show we're doing tomorrow night at Daly's Place. We have Friday Night Rampage live on TNT. We're going to tape matches for a couple hours from 8 to 10 for our AEW Dark YouTube show that airs every Tuesday. Hundreds of thousands of people watch that every week. It's got a big worldwide audience. And we also have TV on in 130 countries around the world. We have this show that's going to be live on TNT. It's one of the top shows on cable, and it's watched all over the world. It's a top show on ITV in England, which is the top free-to-air commercial channel in the country. And we have, again, over 130 countries worldwide where our TV shows are on. We also have a show on Wednesdays on TBS that is consistently the top show on cable. It's been number one show on cable most weeks this year. And on Wednesdays, it's pretty amazing the history we have. It's been more than any other show on Wednesdays. It's had that number one spot this year, and it's been on for just over 3 years. We just celebrated our 3-year anniversary, and almost half the shows we've done, we just did our 160th episode, and almost half of them have been here in Jacksonville. Through the lockdown, we did our shows here. It's been the home to AEW since we started. We actually launched the promotion here in Jacksonville. Brent, you were there, and it was at the beginning of 2019. And now our TV shows have been on for just over 3 years. The 3-year anniversary was just a couple weeks ago in Washington, D.C., and Jacksonville's really a home to AEW. And after the lockdown, we were here for over a year. We've been on the road for over a year. In that time, we've seen the whole country. We've done AEW Dynamite and Friday Night Rampage, like the show tomorrow night here in Jacksonville. That's on live on TNT tomorrow night at 10. We've got this great record of doing shows, Friday Night Rampage and Wednesday Night Dynamite, all over the country. We've been to Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York City. We've been to the Forum in L.A., the United Center in Chicago, Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, all the top venues all across the country. And we're going to continue to expand, going to Seattle, San Francisco next year. But it's really important to come back here to Jacksonville, which is the home that allowed AEW to launch and where we found a home and did shows through the pandemic, which was really cool because if you remember at the start of the 2020 football season, we had fans in the stadium and it was pretty cool. And it was a trailblazing thing to do. It was aggressive, people thought at the time, but what we did was totally safe. We went through an entire football season with 0 known COVID transmissions and did over a year of wrestling shows every Wednesday out in Daly's Place with fans out in the stands, socially distanced. We spaced the people out, but we had fans in the stands. It was the only place in North America where you could see wrestling TV with fans. And there were 0 known COVID transmissions for AEW and the Jaguars here in Jacksonville. And when the NFL started in 2020, if you remember, there were only 2 teams with fans in the stands, the Chiefs and the Jags. So the Jaguars really were able to keep the fans in the games. I wish we'd been able to have a more competitive team that year, but I think right now it's for everybody who's been a loyal Jaguars fan. I really feel like this is the year where it's coming together and paying off because you're seeing the team take strides across the board. I think Trevor's stat line is a microcosm of the team. If you look, he's improved every statistical category year over year. It's exactly what you want to see from a young franchise quarterback, that kind of marked improvement, whether it's completion percentage, yards per attempt, touchdown to interception ratio. He's really turned it on, and I think it adds up when you look at what Doug Peterson, Press Taylor, Mike McCoy, and the great staff Doug's put together have done. And then defensively on that side of the ball, Mike Caldwell has come in. He's got this great group of young players and this great staff he's brought in. And I think Trent has accumulated a lot of assets, and now Mike has been able to put together a really good defense. I think we just got to build consistency because we've seen good performances on both sides of the ball. And that's a huge step from where we were last year and the year before. And it's got us competitive in games, and it's been the most fun, I think, season of football we've had. So it's really neat for me. I've been looking forward to this weekend all year to have AEW Friday Night Rampage live on TNT tomorrow night at Daly's Place, and then also to have the Jaguars versus the New York Football Giants on Sunday. It's just the most special weekend of the year for me personally.
I got to ask, because you say when you launched AEW out in 2019, you want to talk about a harrowing time to start a new business.
Yep.
At the end of 2019. So obviously you don't just launch a business going, well, what do we do next? You had plans that you had in place or things you wanted to do. The pandemic comes along. I got to imagine it disrupts those plans in a significant way that you guys have to reconvene and go, what's the audible here? Do you think it ultimately ended up helping you being one of the few things that was out there and new and happening? The action was going on. Or do you think it hurt based on what you had originally planned for AEW?
Well, it was a mix. I mean, it was very challenging, and it could have set the company behind. But we actually, after spending over a year out here in Daly's Place, we came out of it stronger. And it was thanks to the support of the fans and, at the beginning, the local government allowing us to do the shows in the outdoor environment of Daly's Place and keep the company going, which is a local business. And it was pretty awesome. And we did it safely. We got through the pandemic. And, I totally agree with you, Aaron. I think it really helped us to be one of the only shows producing new content through the lockdown. We brought big celebrities into Jacksonville to do shows that were seen worldwide and gave Daly's Place in Jacksonville a lot of international cachet, having Mike Tyson in here on pay-per-view and to have Shaquille O'Neal and Snoop Dogg wrestling on TV. These were really big deals. And they were all here in Jacksonville. It was big moments. I went out, Josh Allen and I were talking with Shaquille O'Neal. Like, that was pretty cool. And Josh Allen, it was cool for him to be able to come out back and see that. And really awesome to have, the support of the community through all this. And that's, I think, what allowed us to come out of it stronger. And then now that we've been on tour and gone back on the road, I agree with you. I think being one of the only shows producing new content at the time, it was really only AEW, WWE, and UFC were the 3 sports leagues that were producing new content and having fights week to week, and there was really not much else new on TV. Of course, The Last Dance was huge on ESPN. Now it's on Netflix, but it was on ESPN originally, here on ESPN, and it was very cool to have AEW be one of the top shows through the pandemic and producing new content. And I definitely think that helped us. And it's actually having UFC here in town. That was the connection. It was all these things had in common was all 3 were out of Florida, and AEW and UFC specifically were out of Jacksonville. And that's where Dana White and I became really good friends. And Dana White is a really close friend of mine now to this day out of Jacksonville and working together through that early 2020 lockdown to keep AEW and UFC running. And, of course, UFC, a great partner here of ESPN.
I think that's what was most fascinating to me. When AEW launched, I mean, you're listening to the people forecasting the success of this thing, and everyone's hesitant because you have such a behemoth in WWE in that industry. And then AEW comes along with just haymakers, laying it down, right? But then you see a brand like UFC look at what you're doing and follow suit. I mean, really influencing the way that they were going to do combat sports throughout the pandemic because they had their Fight Island, but they wanted fans back.
Yep.
And they saw AEW doing it. And so is that like a little pin of pride for you that you really affected that whole landscape so shortly after you launched AEW?
It was amazing being in the bubble. It was, there were very few games in town, and AEW was undeniably one of the main sports leagues on TV coming out of 2020 through the lockdown pandemic. And a huge reason was the shows we did here in Jacksonville.
So cool.
And it was really cool. That's the kind of person Dana White is, that Dana said he would keep supporting Jacksonville and the fans here, even though the fans were not allowed to attend the shows early on. He said, I'll keep coming back and we'll do shows in front of the fans. And now UFC's done some great events here, and Dana's brought some of the biggest stars in the world here. So it's pretty cool to have these 2 big sports leagues, AEW and UFC, supporting the local community here in Jacksonville, bringing people together. And my dad and Dana and I remember having dinner in the early pandemic, outdoors on the boat, spaced out, air fist bumping and all this. It was cool. And he's really a classy person. So I thought that was really cool what he brought here. And I remember when they were closed doors and we were both in the bubbles, we shared the Hyatt as a space actually at one point. And it's a pretty amazing community we have here. And Dana being such a cool guy, it's amazing. He gave us this access, so we went backstage in the pandemic. So John Moxley and JR and I were actually at the fights, and we were like the only fans at the show. Myself with JR, our legendary Jim Ross, the wrestling announcer, and John Moxley, the world champion of AEW. He's a world champion now. He was a world champion then. And it was pretty cool because, those UFC fighters, they watch wrestling. So when they saw like Mox and JR walking around, they got excited. That's awesome. Every fighter knew who those 2 were. So that was pretty awesome.
Hey, what do you got coming up in terms of the matches? Can you share anything with the Rampage? And I'm sure so many people already know, but you're the one pushing the buttons, calling the shots, man. What do you got going on Friday night?
Boy, it's pretty amazing to be back in Daly's Place because one of the most popular acts in all of AEW right now is the World Tag Team Champions. one of the greatest tag teams in the world over the last several years. Now they've risen to the top, and they are number one, the Acclaimed. They actually started in Jacksonville. It was about 2 years ago, probably almost exactly 2 years ago, that I spoke to these two young wrestlers, and I called them into my office, and I said, I think you're both tremendous, and I know you've never teamed before, but I'd like you to be a team called the Acclaimed. And they knew each other. They just had never worked as a team. One of them is Max Caster, and I'd seen Max do rapping on Twitter, but he'd never done it in the ring or as part of his entrance, at least. And I thought it would be so great if his entrance was the rap. And Max is so talented. And his partner, Anthony, and Max, they came together, and they worked so hard. Anthony's a great athlete. He's a former college baseball player, and he played baseball at Seton Hall, and I believe also at Morehead State, and really is so charismatic. And just the way the two came together and came up with things. At first in Daly's Place, in front of the small community here, they really grew in popularity. And then when we were able to bring the fans back, our first full capacity pay-per-view event was Double or Nothing 2021, Memorial Day weekend here in Jacksonville. It was the first wrestling show to come back out of lockdown full capacity, and we sold out Daly's Place. We had one of the most rocking electric atmospheres you'll ever see. It's a classic show, and when the Acclaim came out, they got such a big reaction. Max specifically came out first in this battle royal, and the reaction it got when he did the entrance, it was like, okay, this is the first time there's been a full now group of fans. And granted, it's Jacksonville where these guys started, but I just have a feeling that this is going to get huge. And man, is it ever. And they really clicked. They, the fans got behind them, and they've started winning matches. They're the all-time leaders in wins in AEW history. And then at Arthur Ashe Stadium, which is really the home of both guys, they're both from around New York. Max is from New York. His father played for the New York Jets as an all-pro tight end, Rich Caster, Max Caster's father, and is a great player for them. And Max being such a great wrestler, it's great family athletic genes. And Anthony's from New Jersey, of course, like I said, played baseball up at Seton Hall. And to have both those guys up around their home win the world championship at Arthur Ashe Stadium, and their mentor is a legendary wrestler, Billy Gunn, who they call, I don't know if I can say this on the radio. I think I can.
We'll edit it.
Daddy Ass.
Oh, you're good.
Daddy
That's
Ass.
nothing.
Billy Gunn, Daddy Ass.
That's nothing, man.
And so they've got these fans in arenas sold out. Tens of thousands of fans will chant. And it's just so popular. And this has gotten so popular. And another wrestler, specifically a wrestling lawyer, whose name is Smart Mark Sterling, he trademarked the scissoring out from under these guys, and he's holding it over their heads. So at Daly's Place, 10 p.m. on TNT, you can see it live here in Jacksonville tomorrow night. It's Friday Night Rampage. It will be titles versus trademarks as Sterling's varsity athletes take on the Acclaimed with the trademark of the up against the World Tag Team Championships. And it's very fitting because the Acclaim started here in Jacksonville, and now they've made it to the top of the profession, and they're putting it all on the line to get back their rightful intellectual property, frankly. So I think it's going to be an amazing match, and I'm going to announce a little bit more. We've announced some things for the card. Hook, who's a wildly popular young wrestler, is putting his FTW title on the line against Ari Daivari. There's a great women's match I'm really excited about. It's a rubber match between two of the really top young women's wrestlers, Willow Nightingale versus Penelope Ford. And also a little bit more I'm going to add to the card, and a little bit to spice it up, I think. That we'll have a little bit of news that I'm excited for that will be great with a local favorite of the Jacksonville community, I think. So should be a lot of fun, and it's all on TNT. You could watch it on TV, but it's really fun to come out to the matches. Should be a beautiful night.
Yeah, it should be.
Tomorrow night to watch the wrestling matches out at Daly's Place in the amphitheater. So I'd love to have everyone come out, and it's going to be a beautiful weekend, I think, to have AEW on Friday night on TNT, and then also to have the Jags here and have a home game coming at the right time, I think, for a team that's working really hard and I think can earn a win this weekend.
All right, Tony Khan with us, Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz, Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Let's go rapid fire because we're going to get you out of here for that meet and greet, by the way, coming up at 4:30 at Daly's Place. Fulham's off to a nice start. Can Fulham stay up?
Yes.
And are you guys good enough to be like this all year?
Yes. The team has been off to a great start thanks to the hard work of our players, and particularly due to the great coaching of Marco Silva, who's doing an awesome work at Fulham. And I really, really believe we can stay up. And, it's very challenging to stay in the Premier League. And we've got a lot of experience now in the Premier League. A lot of our players are experienced, some with Fulham, some with other clubs. And we brought in some really good international players, too. I think everybody's gelling in a great way, largely thanks to Marco Silva and the great Fulham staff. And it's just a real pleasure working with Marco Silva, who I have so much respect for. Similar to with Doug, where he has great experience. Marco's been a Premier League manager. He knows what it takes to win in the Premier League, just like Doug Peterson knows what it takes to win in the NFL. And that's why he's been a great hire for the Jaguars, and we're going to continue to improve under Doug. I believe Marco has the right mindset and will continue to get better at Fulham under Marco Silva's coaching.
Jags look really good in all these statistical categories, but they're 2-4. You guys are 2-4. It seems weird, right? Because you mentioned the marked improvement. The numbers kind of say, hey, they're a better football team right now than 2-4. In analytics, does that average out eventually? Does that work out in your favor from a wins-loss standpoint?
It has to. You have to win the games, but at the same time, I think it shows that we've come so far to be competitive, because what that reflects that we've been in a lot of close games and the team's been very competitive, and I think we need to win the close games. And in the NFL, that's really important, because our wins have been games where we got off to a big lead. And I think we've been in a lot of tight games, and we got to win those games. But with a young football team, there's steps, and I think what they've shown is that year over year, the team's gotten so much better, and I think that's the most important thing, and we're building for the future. This is a long-term thing we're building in Jacksonville with the Jaguars, and it's really come a long way this year, largely thanks to the hard work of the players and the work that Doug and Trent and everyone in the building is doing.
Oh, you mentioned Trent Baalke. I mentioned this before the show. You know this. You know the pulse of the fan base. You saw what was happening back in January and December. There was a lot of venom toward Trent Baalke, and you guys stayed loyal to him, kept him. How did that all manifest itself, and why, I guess, in that way? And it seems like right now it's paid off with a pretty good roster.
Well, my dad is one of the strongest-willed people there is, and I think my dad knew, and I know, that Trent is a really strong talent evaluator and an honest person and a good general manager, and he really deserved a chance. And I didn't think the abuse Trent was taking was fair. My dad definitely didn't think the abuse Trent was taking was fair, and we, really stood beside him. I've watched every Jaguars game for years with Trent, and we have seen the team firsthand getting better and better under Trent as GM, and now the team is taking a huge leap under Doug. And I think with the talent that we've stacked up, in particular, there are some good players that have come in the last couple of years, young players, some second-year players, and now the rookies that are really making a big leap for us. So we've really, I believe, found with Trent somebody who's a strong talent evaluator, and with Doug, a coach, and also two people for me that have good experience working with analytics, like I was telling you, because Trent at San Francisco and Doug in Philadelphia had a lot of great history working with statistics and some good results that came from that. And I think we can do the same thing here in Jacksonville, building for the future.
It's interesting to me at any business, at the workforce kind of transition, especially leadership, what you find are people who like the ways they used to do it and a group of people who like the ways that things are getting done now. And in analytics, this has really been like a tidal wave, a wave of momentum. They say the NFL is a copycat league. Well, if it's working, people do it. And that's what we've seen with sports science and analytics. So I guess my question for you is, we're talking about how Doug is well entrenched into the numbers and analytics, and Trent, obviously you live and work that passion. But over your time here, over the decade plus, did you run up against any roadblocks? Not just you have to name names or anything, but were there people who were resistant to the new way of doing things, and then ultimately, do they see that way, or do they go out to pasture with the way that their things are done?
There's definitely been mixed mixed reception to the analytics, and I think it's gotten more positive across the NFL.
Hey, everybody's doing it
Absolutely
now,
across the NFL, similar to what happened in baseball, where I think a large percentage of the listeners here would have either seen the movie Moneyball or read the book, which is a great book by Michael Lewis, and it's a great movie. And that idea of having people resistant to it, but that was over 20 years ago in the baseball business, and now in the football business. That we've seen similar adoption across teams. Just like at the end of Moneyball, you saw more teams starting to adopt the analytics, and I think you see more teams in the NFL quickly adapting it. So that is happening, and we were, doing the work early and starting to, build models and build things that I think we can use now. And Doug and Trent both have that experience, and then they both brought people in to work directly underneath them, like just as examples, like Ethan under Trent, a lot of good experience working with analytics at the 49ers, and somebody else good on his staff with really good experience. And then like Ryan is somebody I work with really closely, who'd been with Doug in Philadelphia. And there's really good culture, I think, of analytics, both in scouting and personnel and in the coaching, where the guys apply it. And I think we're a really forward-thinking team because we have decision makers at the top in Doug and Trent who, really want the team to be better and believe in using the data to make their decisions. And that's why I think, I personally have gravitated towards them, in addition to them both just being really nice people.
Analytics say that if you strike out 17 times in a game or two, the team that struck out two probably will win the game. That happened last night. Houston beat the Yankees. Analytics also says the Jags might be a little bit better than the Giants, and I think that plays out this weekend. We'll find out on Sunday, 1 o'clock at TIAA Bank Field. AEW Rampage tomorrow night. Meet and greet coming up in just a short time at 4:30 at Daly's Place. And don't forget, 10 p.m. live, TNT, and Wednesday, Dynamite, TBS, 8 p.m. Tony Khan, thanks for stopping by, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on. It's great to have both AEW Rampage Friday night in Jacksonville and then also have the Jags home game. It's very nice to be at home for me. And then we'll be back on the road with AEW in Norfolk. And, after I leave Virginia, we'll have Rampage up in Connecticut. And then I'm on the flight to London for a big weekend with Fulham versus Everton. And, of course, Jaguars versus Broncos. Very cool. The Jaguars TV partner in England, ITV for Jaguars versus Broncos, also the TV partner of AEW.
Ah, very good.
So very cool
synergy going on.
You may see some synergies while you're in London. I predict, Brent, you may see a synergy, some cool co-promotion of AEW and the Jaguars by the network, by ITV, at their request, which is pretty awesome.
Very good.
See a
Good
Jackson DeVille suplex off the top deck or something.
You might you might see cooler stuff than that. Yeah. So I'm excited for the possibilities of the worlds of AEW and the Jaguars colliding on ITV, the best commercial network in England, and very cool to be here with you guys talking about all of it.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Brent.
Good catching up with you. Brent and Friends rolls on right after this on ESPN 690.
In here and listen up, okay? We've got so much going on in Jacksonville sport-wise right now. I'm talking about the Jags, the Jumbo Shrimp, college and high school football seasons. And you got to be able to go somewhere you know you're going to get the best coverage in town. And that's right here on ESPN 690. Every Monday through Friday, we have your afternoon and evenings covered with Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and the boy, Kasey Kurtz, from 3 to 6 p.m. And then we top it off with another hour of prime entertainment when Kasey and myself bring you overtime from 6 to 7. So really, what more do you need? The answer is nothing. So let me tell you what to catch us right here on the radio or stream us on ESPN690.com, YouTube, Twitter, or a bunch of other places that I won't try to fit in because I've already been talking for too long and we got people who pay money for spots that I'm taking the time of right now. Anyway, I got to wrap it up. Action Sports Jacks from 3 to 6 p.m. and then overtime from 6 to 7 right here on ESPN 690.
The Last Waltz Tour 2022 is coming to the St. Augustine Amphitheater on Friday, November 18th, and ESPN 690 has tickets to the show. Log on to ESPN690.com and get tickets to The Last Waltz 2022, featuring Warren Haynes, Jamie Johnson, Kathleen Edwards, Don Was, Dave Malone, Cyril Neville, and more on The Last Waltz Tour 2022.
Buying or leasing a car in Jacksonville is the best with Fields Auto Group, Jacksonville's luxury auto group. Lexus of Jacksonville and Orange Park, Mercedes-Benz of Jacksonville, Orange Park, Jaguar Land Rover, Jacksonville, Porsche, Jacksonville, Fields Cadillac, Jacksonville, and St. Augustine. If the luxury car you want isn't in stock, Fields Auto Group will order it. And at Fields, you'll never be charged over sticker price. Stop by a Fields store today and see what world-class service really means. Fields is a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fields Auto Group, fieldsauto.com.
Do you make a purchase just because it's cheap? Never, right? So why would you ever purchase a do-it-yourself security system just because it's cheap? Right now, some companies say you can buy a refurbished one for a whopping $206. Refurbished means the last family found it unacceptable, and now they want to pawn it off on you. And that's more upfront money than SafeTouch security charges for their Advantage package, which includes a two-way communicator. And the SafeTouch system includes free installation by SafeTouch professionals. After all, you're the least experienced security installer you know, right? SafeTouch gives you 24/7 UL-approved monitoring in their very own central station right here where you live. So the do-it-yourself system has cheap, non-professional equipment, comes with no Florida license, and wholesale who-knows monitoring. SafeTouch Security comes with the finest equipment available, certified installers, and monitoring right here in Florida, with a lifetime warranty on parts and labor. Call 888-723-8682 or visit safetouch.com today. State license number EF0000233.
If you play a sport or coach a sport or watch a sport in Jacksonville, there's a really good chance that uniform was ordered through Baker Sports. Look good, feel good, play good. Custom sports apparel at Baker Sports since 1997 and a staff that wants to help you. They are experts in the business and make outfitting your team a seamless endeavor. The homegrown Jacksonville business is now the top choice for apparel all over the Southeast. Baker Sports, uniforms, hats, shoes, embroidery, screen printing, and 3D printing. They do it all at Baker Sports, helping make your team look good.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7, with supplies and solutions for every industry, and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
On Friday, October 21st, AEW Rampage returns to Daly's Place for the last time in 2022.
We're live at Daly's Place in Jacksonville.
Experience what All Elite Wrestling is all about, live and in person.
Oh, my God!
MJF.
I'm better than you, and you know it.
Saraya.
I am the revolution.
John Moxley.
You better step up or get stepped on.
Bryan Danielson. Claudio Castagnoli. Dr. Britt Baker. DMD.
I'll fight all of you right now.
Orange Cassidy, The Acclaim.
Everyone!
In our glory. Hook, Hangman, Adam Page.
Hangman's in the house.
Jade, FTR.
Top guys, out.
Tony Storm. Wardlow. Darby Allin. Chris Jericho. And the Jericho Appreciation Society.
And that's entertainment.
And many more will be there live. Don't miss AEW Live at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now and start at $20 plus fees. Go to AEWTIX.com right now. Card subject to change.
Tailgate for a good cause ahead of the Jaguars Giants game this Sunday. Head to the Duval House, a short walk from the stadium, starting at 10:30 for a tailgate benefiting the Tom Coughlin J Fund Foundation. Drinks, food, prizes, and games provided. Proceeds help the J Fund patients and families who are tackling pediatric cancer. Donations will be greatly appreciated. So join ESPN 690 this Sunday and support the J Fund and tailgate at the Duval House.
It's where I take my family to play golf, and you can take yours as well. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and it can be your golf destination. Enjoy your golf experience by calling 287-PLAY, 287-PLAY. Play some golf or maybe practice some golf at one of the newest facilities in the area. Grab some lunch or dinner, too. Southampton has it all. 287-PLAY for tee times and more. The Golf Club at Southampton, the home of the Dream 18. My home course. Make it your home course, too.
If you or someone you know is a post 9/11 veteran looking for direction and purpose in life after military service, Camp Southern Ground is here for you. Warrior Week, our signature veteran-led transition program, will give you the tools and training you need to thrive in work, relationships, life, and family, all at no cost to you. Together, with a community of peers and mentors, we strive to make every day better than the last. Take control and get started today at campsouthernground.org.
Ready to hit the road this fall? Maybe a trip to the mountains or over the river to Grandma's? Then listen up, because you need to rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. If you've tried to rent lately, then you know rental companies are short on inventory, but not our friends over at Arlington Toyota Rent-A-Car. Arlington has 2022 and 2023 models in stock and ready to rent at a great price. Plus, renting a Toyota is the best way to try it before you buy it. Go to arlingtontoyota.com, reserve your rental, and discover just how good Toyota Rent-A-Car can be.
Week 7 fantasy football picks fueled by Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martin. Dak Prescott returns, and you could play him, but how about a receiver that might benefit? Dallas's Michael Gallup could see more work and more productivity with the return of Dak. And this one's a big-time sleeper, but Tampa's Cameron Brate at tight end is hurt. So what about Cade Otton? Could you see a situation where Tom Brady gets Cade Otton a couple of touchdowns? Hey, you might want to give it a flyer. My picks fueled by Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Hey, poker players. Best Bet Jacksonville has another exciting poker tournament series for you. The Card Player Poker Tour is coming to Best Bet Jacksonville from October 27th to November 14th. This tournament series is packed with excitement and features 15 different poker tournaments, including a $1,700 mystery bounty event with bounties ranging from $500 up to $50,000, and the $3,000 no-limit hold'em main event from November 11th to the 14th. Go to bestbetjacks.com to view the tournament schedule.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Mondays like nobody does them in Jacksonville. We start with MJD at 3.
I'm excited.
You should
I'm
be.
excited. I hope everyone else is as well, because this is a different team. And, you know, as you look around the AFC South, everyone's starting to struggle a little bit. And so you just got to keep getting better each week.
And then Rasheem Mathis at 4.
As a Jacksonville community, we should be excited. We should be very excited. I love what I'm seeing. I love the passion. I love the aggressiveness. I love everything about the Jaguars and how they're playing across the board right now.
Catch them every Monday on ESPN 690. What's up? It's Kasey. Check out the podcast Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, wherever you get your podcasts.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKB Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
Ground game 2, Astros and Yankees tonight in Houston. The Stros took game 1 thanks to 3 home runs and the strength of right-hander Justin Verlander. Houston manager Dusty Baker.
Not only physically strong, which you can see, but he's mentally strong. I mean, he's this guy is, you know, he has mental toughness. You know, when he's down and out and look like you got him in trouble, I mean, you know, this guy, he can, you know, he can dial it up.
Our coverage of Game 2 starts at 7 Eastern here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. This just in, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott says he'll start Sunday's game against the Lions. Prescott has missed the last 5 games with a broken right thumb. Dallas went 4-1 with Cooper Rush as the starter. ESPN's Mike Reese reports Patriots quarterback Mac Jones expects to be available for Monday night's game against the Bears. He's missed the last 3 games with a high left ankle sprain. Coach Bill Belichick hasn't actually named his starter for the game.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! What are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Get him! This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
You all fired up, Aaron. I like it.
Is that fired up?
Yeah,
is that what that is?
It was fired up before you got on the air. That's right. Brent Martin. It's kind of a weird start to the show, right? We had Tony Khan, obviously.
It was very frantic, and then it got not frantic. And then I waited for a half hour at a sandwich shop.
We call the show Brent and Friends, and, we got a lot of them today.
Oh, yeah.
We're just claiming friends at this point. we're not even sure they really are, but we're claiming
really
them.
Low bar for friendship on this show.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's been a heck of a week involved in that. Jordan de Lugo will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Ducky Betts is coming on 5:30. We got a lot of phone calls, a lot of producing going on for Kasey Kurtz. I'm Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz. Aaron Schachter, a lot of producing going on for him as well. And our latest friend who might not even claim us is a former Philadelphia Eagle, Vince Papale. You know that name because, well, you've probably seen the movie Invincible. He was the guy who was the inspiration behind it. And as we know it, he's coming to town this weekend. Good buddies with Doug Peterson from the Eagles days. Vince, glad to have you on the show, man.
Hey, great to be on the show. Thanks, Brett, Aaron, and everybody else. This is pretty cool. I will be your friend. I'm your friend forever now.
Well, a cool friend to have.
If you're associated with the Jags and Doug Peterson, we're all in, man. We're family. I love Doug and the Peterson family. We've been together as friends when he was a player coming from Green Bay to the Eagles in '99, and kids grew up together. It's just great. I can't wait to be up there for the game. But we have something really important. That's with the J Fund. So, all good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a J Fund weekend. We're going to have that on ESPN 690 Game Day Live on Sunday morning as well. A couple of kids are going to join us on that show. And a couple of kids from the J Fund also going to be a part of the coin toss between the Giants and the Jaguars.
Cool.
Of course, the Tom Coughlin J Fund. Give us a quick little story of, you mentioned you know him all the way back from the playing days. Obviously, everybody knows Vince Papale in Philadelphia. So is it just because you were hanging around? Were you in the same neighborhood? How did you know Doug?
Well, when we were living in Philly, suburban Philly, a little town called Cherry Hill on the other side of the river, the dark side, they always say. And Doug had come in, and when he came in '99, he had come back. Andy was out there with with the Kansas City. So he came. No, Andy was with the Eagles. Mm-hmm. So he came from Green Bay. That's right, to the Eagles. And so he goes to his buddy, that my wife Janet, who's a realtor, went to his buddy because he bought a house from her and said, who the heck do you buy a house from here in Philadelphia? Says, hey, you go to Janet Papale. And so that was it. So Janet actually started the friendship. Became real good friends with Doug's wife, Jeannie, and that, of course, the relationship formed with him and me, and the relationship I had with the Eagles and the alumni and all that, and we just stayed with Doug ever since, and from a realtor sense, from he's down here in Jupiter where I am right now, and up in Jacksonville. Janet's been with them and part of the Peterson team, so we're really, really excited about Doug being again back on the sideline where he belongs, and a little surprised that the Eagles decided to let him go. But hey, right now it looks like everything's good. 6-0, nobody's complaining. But we're excited about Doug, and I know he's got a great team with great potential. And some guys just keep their discipline and don't make stupid mistakes. They could have come away with a couple more wins instead of losses. So it's what it is.
Yeah, Vince Papale with us here on ESPN 690. Brent and Friends, along with Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz. I'm Brent Martineau. And it's interesting to hear you talk like that about Doug Peterson. I have said countless times since he joined, especially coming off last year, that it is just the perfect coach at the perfect time. I think I've been so impressed with his offensive ability and to get guys open. I say Doug Peterson's probably 5-1 as the head coach of the Jaguars, and the players, unfortunately, are 2-4 right now. Are you as surprised as I am that he didn't get more looks this offseason with all the coaching changes in the NFL?
I guess so. You know, it was sort of surprising, but you know, he had a couple. What I'm certainly not in a position to disclose it, but you know, we had a couple good looks and maybe opportunity or two, but it was just perfect up there. You know, and with Shad and the ownership and everything else, and the general manager giving Doug basically a free reign, you know, with the draft and personnel and those kinds of things. And, you know, Doug knows what he likes. You know, he likes that running game, you know, but he still likes to get that ball around. And with Trevor, I mean, there's a kid potential that's beyond, you know, untapped potential. And right now, you know, Doug is a very, very patient guy. He's a teacher. And Doug was a high school coach. You know, in between when he was playing and then coming back into the coaching ranks, he went back, believe it or not, to his alma mater in high school. And started coaching high school football. So Doug's a teacher. He's very patient. You know, he'll tolerate mistakes, unforced errors to a certain extent, you know, publicly. But, you know, I'm sure back behind the scenes there's been a discussion or two. But you're right. You know, Doug Peterson's 4-1 right now, and it's a guy starring shame. But, hey, man, we're excited about the Jags because the Giants are coming in 5-1 and, you know, right on the tails of the Eagles. So, let's go Jaguars, you know what I'm saying?
You know, Vince, it's interesting you talk about knowing Doug for so long, and you talk about him being a teacher and being patient. I imagine these traits aren't something that just came to him in the last couple of years, right? He was probably like this when you knew him in his younger days as well, was he not?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and my son is a player, and you know he's had a couple of sons that were players, and you know, Doug coaching them throughout their formative years, and then him working with my son Vinny. And you know, I just saw him in operation and just see how patient he is. But you know, the key about Doug is he's really hard on fundamentals. And you know, except for the Philly in the Super Bowl, you know, not a lot of frills. You know, let's just get after it and play football. And you know, once the fans get to understand Doug and his style, and they're going to love the guy. And you know, and then when Trevor gets this full year behind him, with Doug Peterson as his mentor, with somebody who knows how to call an offense, how to run an offense, how to set up an offense, and he's got a really fine-looking defense. It's just a matter. It's going to get better. Just can't make those third down and long situations and mistakes that you know, hurt him. Well, you know, but it's there. It's there. They know it's there. And it's just a matter. Hey, the Giants could be the one that just springs the leak, and
we certainly hope so.
Into a dam, you know, into a waterfall.
I was just saying, because in between those lines of patience, you do see Doug get itching to go for it a lot, right? Especially on fourth down. Was that part of his personality as you grew up and knew him, or is this something he kind of acquired as he went through the coaching ranks?
Hell yes, Doug would go for it in the minus red zone if he had to. You know, he's not looking at all these stats. You know, it's a gut feeling, but you can expect anytime that ball's in the plus territory on the plus side of the 50-yard line, and it's a fourth down. I'm almost guaranteed that Doug's going to go for it.
Yeah.
It's not even a question. You know, the kicker, don't even think about warming up.
No. Yards to go, who cares? Is it fourth down? Get him out there. Let's go.
I love it. And the minus red zone. That's a great quote from Vince Papale, who's with us here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. We appreciate you taking some time. You know, obviously your story is well chronicled in the movie Invincible. And I've got to believe you're on a card show, right? In Virginia right now? Is that where
I am. Yeah, I'm flying out tomorrow morning to Chantilly for the card show.
Okay.
And then Saturday I have a direct flight, believe it or not, from D.C. into Jacksonville, where I'm going to hook up with my wife Janet, the love interest in my movie, who is not a Giants fan, by the way, and she'll be rooting for the Jags. Janet, by the way, was a world-class USA gymnast, on that same team as Kathy Rigby back in the Munich days. So,
wow.
That's her background. So, we're going to meet up with them, and my daughter Gabriella is coming up, and we're going to do some stuff with the J Fund, and I'm real excited about doing that because it's something near and dear to my heart, and it's pediatric cancer. When I first became a Philadelphia Eagle, the thing that was given to us as a gift was called the Eagles Fly for Leukemia. And you have Children's Hospital, and they had this oncology wing for children. And leukemia was the big thing, and the survival rate might have back then maybe been 20%, 25, 30%. Now, because of research, because of guys like Tom Coughlin, the J Fund, Eagles Fly, whatever it might be, this recovery rate or this rate of getting cured is up around 75, 80%. And it's all because of the funds that are enabling them to do the research to get there. So, this is new for me with Tom Coughlin. He busted our chops a few times with some Super Bowl wins, but, I can't wait to team up with the man because what he's doing is near and dear to my heart. And, you would think it's a family kind of a thing, but it all started with the ball player of his when he was at Boston College, when he was coaching back in the day. And he's been, what's about $18 million that he's raised for scholarships. I mean, how great is that? That's phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to meeting Tom and getting to know the people in Jacksonville because you're going to see me an awful lot up in Jacksonville as the years go on.
I have the feeling we will. I mean, you're locked in on the Jags, which I like because you know exactly what they've been doing week in, week out. But you're right about Tom Coughlin. This is a great opportunity to say the J Fund and so many folks around here know what it's impacted and the work that Tom Coughlin has done. And while he's recognized as a football coach and a Super Bowl winning football coach a couple times, he will be a Hall of Famer. So many folks in this area, in the New York area, know that this is a big part, maybe the biggest part of his legacy. So I'm glad you were able to point that out. But speaking of legacy, Vince, do you get surprised, whether it's at a card show or us talking to you or reminiscence of the movie with Mark Wahlberg, which maybe we'll ask you a little bit more about in a moment, that 50 years later, that you're still celebrated, remembered in the way you are for what you accomplished, a guy that didn't.
He's the pioneer. He's the average Joe guy.
He's the average Joe guy that played 1 year of high school football, no years of college
football. Every football fan watching football who goes, I can do that, looks at Vince and goes, see, I can do that.
But isn't that cool? Are you surprised that still resonates all these years later?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Well, thanks to the movie and also thanks to the popularity of Mark Wahlberg. I mean, the guy's always right on top of the scene. He's out there. And, it's synonymous, the name Mark Wahlberg and Invincible. And I think because of his popularity, that the movie has not decreased at all. And I heard it right now that's going on Netflix. So that's pretty huge. But I am surprised. And no matter where I go, whatever I do, and people come up and, it was really funny when they call me a legend. Yeah, like in my own mind, you've heard that one before. But it's so cool. And I just spent 3 weeks up in Philly. I started with the Jags game in the rain, and just finished up with the Cowboys game the other night, and then just came into Jupiter just yesterday. But just walking around Philadelphia, it's absolutely insane. And walking through the streets of Philadelphia with the Phillies going on, and everybody's out. It was pretty cool. So I'm blessed. Thank you, Sylvester Stallone and Rocky. It all started because I was always the real life Rocky. And so when the Rocky movie turned 25, ESPN Monday Night Football with Stuart Scott and Ron Jaworski, there was a feature comparing me to Rocky. And the next thing you know, movie comes out 2 years later. Mark Wahlberg is me. He's fantastic. He's a great guy. He worked so hard. He really embraced me, our family, the movie, Philadelphia. He's loved in Philadelphia. And, it's just crazy. It's been since 2006, since the sucker came out, and I'm still pinching myself. And here I am. I'm down here in Jupiter, Florida, for crying out loud. For the rest of my life, I'm a Floridian now. And it all started because somebody asked me to come down and do something for law enforcement, to do a speech 7 years ago. And once we got down here, and my wife Janet, when I met her, lived in Boynton, a little bit south from here. And, we always dreamed of coming back. And now Gabby, my daughter's 28. My son Vinny's in the USFL, 25. And this is the perfect spot for us. It's paradise. And Jacksonville is going to become, for me, it's just going to become my next door neighbor because we're going to be putting a lot of miles on 95 between here and there.
Absolutely. Vince Papale with us here on ESPN 690, Brent and Friends. I want you, I was just in Philly for that game. And if you're walking, Philly fans obviously can be just absolutely nuts. And a lot of people, you're totally, they love you everywhere you go. Like, you have nothing negative on the Philly fan base. They absolutely endeared yourself to that base. If you're walking down Market Street, what's it like? I mean, does everybody know who you are? This is a long time ago now.
Yeah, it's you know, if they're in that age, you know, in the 40s and 50s, you know, most of them will know, you know, because they've seen them and stuff like that. I can say I don't buy too many beers.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
But, you know, it's crazy, you know, because I was a 10-year season ticket holder. You know, I taught. The real story was I went back to my alma mater. Was a track guy trying to qualify for the Olympic trials in the decathlon, and at the same time playing in the rough touch leagues. And when I couldn't get my track thing finished, and I was working on my master's degree, I was head track coach. I mean, I was 6 years doing all this, and then I got pissed off, started playing semi-pro football, and that's when I'm still a season ticket holder. And that just what you said right in the beginning, Brent. You know, hey, I can do this, but you got to get the shot, man. And the shot was, who was the shot? Dick Vermeil gave me the chance of a lifetime. I go to my high school coach. I said, everybody's breaking my chops. He said, here's a great quote for y'all. Happy are those who dream dreams and are willing to pay the price to make them come true. And I always say when I'm out giving a speech, are you willing to sacrifice what it takes to get there, and are you willing to pay the price? If not, forget about it. You're not going to make it, you know, so just don't even think about trying it. And, but I got the shot, you know, and there's Dick Vermeil now in the Hall of Fame. I get invited to go to the Hall of Fame by Dick Vermeil. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I'm there with family, for crying. I could send you a picture, you know, of my family. You can put it up there on your website, you know, of us there with Coach Vermeil. I mean, it's like, for me, one of the proudest moments of my life that I could be associated with this man. But, you know, once you become a Dick Vermeil guy, like a Tom Coughlin guy, once you become a Doug Peterson guy, you're there forever, and your family. And you know, they're that other breed of coaches, aren't there just to, okay, let's, you know, just win football. It's also the development of the player, the development of their attitude, their personality, all those things combined. And God darn if we don't need it right now with the storm that's going through our country. And, you know, we need positive people like that. And Dick Vermeil is as energetic as he was back in '76 when he gave me the shot.
It sounds like a hugely impactful moment in your life, but I got to imagine the phone call from whoever it was to you or your people telling them they want to make this movie was pretty impactful. What was that like? Who made that call? Who'd they reach out to?
Well, it was cool how they did it, actually. What had happened was they showed the feature comparing me to Rocky, and Storm draws are breaking my chops. And the feature came out. Next thing you know, on Monday, on the next morning, Tuesday morning, there was 7 or 8 studios and producers giving us a call.
Oh, wow.
And so we had to determine which one was which.
Yeah, how do you do that? Do you like put them up on the big board, like in the draft room or something like that? You try to figure out which studio to go with?
Well, you know, you get people, and it's, you know, people don't do it for free. And we do it for, we did it, and we came up with Ken Bach, who was one of the first guys to ever do reality TV, and he also created America's Next Top Model. And he said, you know what, we're going to do what nobody else is going to do. We're going to write a spec script. And he got Brad Gann, who wrote the Oscar De La Hoya story, which got out onto the screen. And they went and they wrote the script. And then they gave the script to 6 or 8 or 10 producers who took it around Hollywood. And the 2 guys that did Miracle and Rookie, right, 2 of the best sports movies
Great sports
ever,
movies, yeah.
especially Miracle, Mark Giardi and Gordon Gray, and these guys are my buddies today. They took it to Disney, and as soon as Disney saw it, and based on the success they had with those other 2 movies and a few what they'd done, Secretariat, you know, and whatever, and based upon their success, said, this is the one. And that happened in 2004, and that's when I made my primal screen, because I got the call from Disney. And they say, you now are basically our property. Yeah. We own you.
Now, you talk about a sure thing, though. Like, you get linked up with Disney, chances are you're not putting out a stinker. Even if it's like mediocre, you're breaking all kinds of records on that movie.
Yeah, it was easy. We had 2 premieres, one in New York, one in Philadelphia.
Amazing.
That was off the charts. Michael Irvin was a Philadelphian one, you know, and and Michael Strahan to the New York one, and we just it was so many. It was
Very
insane.
cool.
It's crazy.
Vin-
Yeah, here we are, and I'm going to help hopefully raise some money for the J Fund.
Yeah, Vince, it's really cool, and we're going to let you go, but it's neat to see your appreciation and gratitude for your own story almost and how it's come to fruition this way in your life. And we can feel that. That's kind of a neat thing. And I know Tom Coughlin, J Fund, is very happy to have you up here this weekend for the Giants and Jaguars game. So thanks for your support of that fantastic cause, and look forward to seeing you this weekend at TIAA Bank Field for the Jags game. Hopefully a W for your buddy Doug Peterson.
I'll be looking forward to it. I'll reach out to you. I hope we get a chance to meet you eventually or finally.
All right. Thanks, Vince. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks.
That is Vince Papale, and you can feel that energy. Pretty cool. Good stuff. If you missed the early part of that interview, fantastic stuff on Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
Knows him really well.
Oh, yeah. They seem like best buds.
Yeah, like knows him so well that he had to be a little careful to say too much. You got a feel for that?
Don't you get the feeling like everyone we talk to who knows Doug further than just this is a guy I see on TV? People who know this man personally, they all love him and swear by this guy.
That's really hard to find. I can tell you stories of people inside the Jags building that had reached out to people inside the Philadelphia building who absolutely adore him, love him, like going to be great to work, all this stuff. And that is a constant thing.
That's
Obviously,
great.
he's good buddies with Papale, so you figure he would say some nice things.
Sure, but
we
you
all
get
know
there
it.
by
We
getting
see it,
there,
right?
you know,
We get
yeah.
it. And I think we're just kind of scratching the surface on learning about Doug Peterson. I don't think he's had time yet to even kind of wrap himself and immerse himself
he
in
just
the
got
community.
here, yeah.
Which he will do.
Find me someone who goes, oh, Doug, he's all right.
Yeah, well, and that scene in Philadelphia after the game it sticks out in your mind how his players were impacted by his presence and coaching and being around him. So there's a lot of good things. And I told Tony Khan this earlier today when we were with him. I said, you got the perfect guy at the perfect time. You can't dismiss that about the Jacksonville Jaguars. They needed Doug Peterson.
Yeah,
Probably more than Doug Peterson needed the Jags.
His type of influence, yes, in the wake of what Urban left behind him.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's talk some more football. Been a fun day already here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunny and cool, but nice today. The highs will reach around 70 this afternoon. Back down into the lower 40s. It'll be chilly tonight. And then a sunny and really nice day tomorrow. Your Friday high around 75. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Save thousands on buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 23rd.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Don't miss the gun show at the Clay County Fairgrounds featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more with concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Clay County Fairgrounds in Green Cove Springs this Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
On Friday, October 21st, AEW Rampage returns to Daly's Place for the last time in 2022.
We're live at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, home of the Jags.
Experience what All Elite Wrestling is all about, live and in person.
Oh, my God!
MJF.
I'm better than you, and you know it.
Saraya.
I am the revolution.
John Moxley.
You better step up and get stepped on.
Bryan Danielson. Claudio Castagnoli. Dr. Britt Baker. DMD.
I'll fight all of you right now.
Orange Cassidy. The Acclaimed.
Everyone! The Acclaim!
Swerve in Our Glory. Hook. Hangman Adam Page.
Hangman's in the house.
Jade. FPR.
Top guys out.
Tony Storm. Wardlow. Darby Allin. Chris Jericho. And the Jericho Appreciation Society.
And that's entertainment.
And many more will be there live. Don't miss AEW Live at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now and start at $20 plus fees. Go to AEWTIX.com right now. Card subject to change.
Hi, I'm Mike Combs, professional contractor and TV host. I love helping people, but when it came to improving the water in my own home, I needed help and turned to the water experts at Connecticut to make it right. My water was causing visible problems throughout my home, and it got me thinking about the problems I couldn't see. Protecting my water-using appliances and pipes, preventing stains and hardness buildup, and having clean, great-tasting drinking water are all important to me. But choosing the right water treatment equipment can be tricky. That's where Kinetico comes in. A Kinetico water expert will test your water for free and recommend the system that fits your needs and budget. Improve the quality of your water and your life with the Kinetico water treatment system. I'm so glad I did.
This year, CGC Water Treatment is celebrating 75 years in business. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com for your free assessment. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Buying or leasing a car in Jacksonville is the best with Fields Auto Group, Jacksonville's luxury auto group. Lexus of Jacksonville and Orange Park, Mercedes-Benz of Jacksonville, Orange Park, Jaguar Land Rover, Jacksonville, Porsche, Jacksonville, Fields Cadillac, Jacksonville, and St. Augustine. If the luxury car you want isn't in stock, Fields Auto Group will order it. And at Fields, you'll never be charged over sticker price. Stop by a Fields store today and see what world-class service really means. Fields is a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fields Auto Group, fieldsauto.com.
If you're a veteran looking for direction, purpose, and community in civilian life, we've got your back. Warrior Week at Camp Southern Ground will give you the tools and training you need to thrive in life after military service, all at no cost to you. Get started today at campsouthernground.org.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Be Honest Bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
The graphics are so real on this video game console I bought with the savings from switching to Progressive 10 years ago. I can't tell what's real and what's the game, which I think is what people want, in the future, which it is currently.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends, ESPN 690. I know what you're thinking. Kasey Kurtz, where you been? Don't worry, I've been here. I've been letting the real radio professionals
thank goodness
hold down the interviews that we've had today. Tony Khan, Vince Papale. You can find them on the podcast. Brent and Friends, Action Sports Jack. Search them both wherever you get your podcast. You can find it. Also, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, which is where we are doing the show. Aaron Schachter.
Yo.
Where you been, dog? It's been like
a couple of days, right?
3 days. Like, you're nowhere to be found.
My wife, she runs a business.
Does she?
Yeah, I work in radio, so someone's got to make the money. And
That's
so
for sure.
We chose it to be her. But, her business had a convention where they all went away to Nashville for a couple of days. So I had the kids all to myself. And I'll be honest with you, I know a couple of guys out there feel the same way. When my wife goes out of town, I like to take a couple of days off of work and enjoy the lonesomeness. That's what I did last couple of days. I can't hear you because Casey's a good producer. I'm just kidding. It's not Casey's fault. Don't get mad, Kasey.
I didn't do anything. I just sat here.
Look how mad he is now. So bright in that room.
Did you have a good hiatus?
Oh, I had a great. Aside from all the work you guys tried to make me do.
I said it wasn't your anniversary.
No, it wasn't my anniversary. Yesterday was her birthday, though.
Oh, that's what I saw. It was her birthday.
Yeah, it's her birthday. And so...
Because you were simping on the gram.
Well, I said to her at like 10 o'clock, and that means I was being
a simp.
It means my manhood was in her purse.
Oh.
What it means. So basically, I say to her at like 10 in the morning, she's flying back from Nashville. I was like, hey, are you going to be all right if I don't do like a big Facebook and Instagram thing? Like, I hate doing posts like that. Like, excuse me, world. Excuse me. I need to stop everybody and let you know I have a wife and I love her to death. Like, is this really necessary? And she goes like this. She goes, well, you never do, so what does it matter? So now I got to.
She broke you.
Yes, now I got to. Well, I do. The point is, Brent, if you look through the memories, I do every year. So I'm like, all right, fine. And I put it on Instagram. I bought her a birthday present a while back. She had told me months ago she saw this air fryer she liked. And so I bought this air fryer. There's no slouch of an air fryer. Like, it's Emerald branded and stuff. Not Emerald, but Emerald Lagasse. But it was expensive. It wasn't cheap now. And I held it under my, I held it under the vest, nice and quiet as a secret for a while. It comes in the mail 2 days before she leaves for this thing. So I'm like, hey, your present's here if you want to open it early. And she looks at it, and on the box it says what it is. She goes, oh. And I was like, what? And she goes, well, we already have an air fryer. I was like, but you said you wanted this one. And she didn't like it. So long story short, I got her plan B. Anyone want to guess what the birthday present plan B was?
Hold on. I want you to clarify. Actually, no, I don't.
Okay. Brent, I already told him. So you want to guess what the plan B was? The first one was an air fryer.
Plan B.
Random guess.
Flowers.
Flowers is a good one. I did buy flowers, but she's not a flowers lady.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I did it anyway. I wanted her to feel good when she came home. I had birthday cards and flowers laid out. I bought her a chainsaw. A 16-inch battery-powered chainsaw. By request.
For what?
That's what I said. What do you need a chainsaw for? Am I in trouble? I said, should I say this on the radio?
How did you sleep last night?
Yes, exactly. I was like, should I say this on the radio so someone has evidence when the court case comes out? She says the sago palms in the backyard. I'm like, what is wrong with this woman? She wants a big chainsaw for sago palms? I think she just likes power tools. She wanted a leaf blower last year. I got her a leaf blower.
You got her a leaf blower last year.
Leaf blower, chainsaw. What's next? Do we get Tim Tooltime Allen tell me what to get her for Christmas?
I was figuring Kasey was going to jump in there and just be like, no, she just likes tools.
Might be the funniest thing you've ever said.
Come on, Kasey. Yeah, it was like low-hanging fruit for
Nah,
you.
you both missed the low-hanging fruit, which is where I stopped.
Yeah, I know. Well, we can't go there, or we're not going there. That is amazing that you got the last two gifts.
Leaf blower and chainsaw. And by the way,
I like your wife. I've never met her, but I like her.
She got the chainsaw while I was walking the hallway
So I
earlier.
should be careful saying that, too.
Exactly. I was walking the hallway. She gets the chainsaw. She calls me up. She has the biggest smile on her face. Like I made her year with this chainsaw.
That is awesome.
I tried to buy her a small one, like a lady's chainsaw. Man, she got hot. She got so mad. Ladies' chainsaw. Give me the real thing.
I don't think they make a ladies' chainsaw.
Well, they make like a 12-inch.
No,
It's lighter
I thought you were
weight.
going to tell me it was like pink or something.
No. Well, I'm sure they make that. But this one's lighter weight, and they said in the reviews, they're like, it's good for the ladies because it's easier to maneuver. It's less. She goes, no, get me the 16-inch
Listen,
chainsaw.
I can just about guarantee you this, all right? If there's a woman that wants a chainsaw, she doesn't want the ladies' version.
That's true. That's a good point.
There's no way.
Like, if you're getting a chainsaw, why mess around, right? Just go for it.
It's a great question, though. Kasey, have you gone this deep yet? Do you have to? Are you on Facebook? Like, see, do you
the
have
most boomery thing I've ever heard
Yes.
anybody say.
Do you have to
Are
say?
you aware of the Facebook?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Does 25-year-old Kasey go on Facebook?
He's on
I
Facebook.
don't go on much, but I have it, yes.
Okay,
I've
so
had it
do
since
you
I was
have?
like 4.
Has he felt the pressure yet to say
Oh,
happy
to post.
anniversary or
To
happy
do the public
birthday?
posts. Do you do that? Happy anniversary, happy birthday stuff?
Haven't had an anniversary yet, and a wedding anniversary, but we used to do that on the gram.
Yeah.
All right, so on Instagram, do you go all in? Does it get sappy?
I used to, yeah. When
Yeah.
we were in high school and stuff.
Now
But-
you're an adult.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
I mean, you got to do it sometimes. It's a good thing to do. Like I'm not hammering it.
Yeah, I'll
I don't
do it in
think
March.
I don't think I do
For,
it all
wedding.
the time.
It made me feel like an idiot.
You know what I do? Like I've done it a couple times, and then I'll
I
share
liked
the
it just
memory.
to try to help.
It's the laziest. Like, hey, remember when I was sweet? Let's just pretend I did that again.
Yeah, so I don't have to write this again.
Yeah,
right?
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, that's
it's
the way
like I
to
already
do it.
did this when we did our vows. Now I got to do it every year. Come on.
I have told you this. I've said this before, though. My good buddy Martin Buckley told me this. I don't even think he remembers he told me this, but he told me this from Palm Beach Autographs. He said, and we were talking about like how people put stuff on their social media, like almost from a negative standpoint in like an athletics or like a student athlete or whatever. And this is how the conversation came up. It was like, hey, basically social media is a diary for your kids. If you want
like
to
check
see.
out the history of mom or dad.
In a way.
It's turning into that, yeah.
Right? I mean, because you can go see everything. Like my kids see everything I tweet. I mean, I can't hide it from them.
Well, you do it by just tweeting so much, like they can't possibly sift through everything to find.
That is true. That's a good way to hide it.
Yeah.
The important stuff.
Right in plain
fair
sight.
point, though. That's a very fair point. They've probably muted me, actually, my kids on Twitter.
More ways than
Hopefully
one.
you haven't, too. But I was like, you know what? That's a really good point. And so then I've started to use Facebook solely. I don't use Facebook a lot, but I use it to capture. It's almost like your photo album.
Recording milestones, sure.
Yeah, like
Sure.
to more so for the kids. Like I'll share stuff about or video of the kids or pictures of the kids or where we're at.
I'm right there with you.
A lot of times, not all the time. I guess sometimes maybe we'll even try to push the show or other things. But I don't use Facebook a lot, I don't think. But a lot of it is kid oriented, and because I think the best thing Facebook has is the memories.
Yeah.
To see the kids 8 years. Like I'll click on my memories every day. But I won't post anything every day.
Yeah, no, a lot of people do.
You know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think that's the greatness of, if there's a greatness of Facebook, that's it. But someday it's probably going to go away and all my memories will be lost. You know, but I don't put them in a photo album anymore.
Oh, so this is a problem.
Like put them in. Well, they're on my phone, so I could go dig through
today.
'em.
Yeah, but at some point you're going to need to pull them back onto your phone.
I guess maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's how I use. Like, I thought it was a really good point. It's almost like, oh, okay, that's today's photo album. Is some way, shape, or form
For
social
our
media.
generation, yeah. But, there's still a large group of his generation who uses it as if people are asking him to make public statements on things.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's a way to use it. It's the same thing with Twitter. I mean, I use Twitter in a different way than some of the folks in our industry especially use it, where they just use it as a news outlet,
But you've got things to promote as well. Like, I'm talking about the coworker who works in the copy room having to make a statement on some social injustice because the world is clamoring to hear what you think about it.
Yeah.
I can't get with it. I'm too old for that, I think.
I'm kind of not a big fan of it either. But if you know what I have kind of come around on, if that's what it takes to get something off your chest so you're not driving yourself crazy, go at it.
You really are a go with the flow kind of guy.
I mean, but some people need an outlet. I mean, it's unfair for me to say, hey, yeah, I mean, why don't you just say it? Well, I've got 3 hours a day. I can say whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, I guess. All right. I don't know. I
bet there are a lot of people that need that outlet to be like, hey, I got that off my chest. I feel better now. I don't care how people respond to it.
There is so much cringy behavior going down on my social media feeds that I keep there on purpose. Like I literally have a group chat with my two best friends, a couple that me and my wife love, and my wife, the four of us in a group chat, and it's just posting screen caps of people we used to know doing really cringy things going,
I'm sure that, no judgment.
Literally, I can pull up today's
No
chat
judgment.
and we'll have two examples. And most of it is, never mind. I don't want to out anybody. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah, I hear you. It can happen. Hey, real quick, because we only have a minute or two before we hit a break. What about the baseball last night? 17 strikeouts for your New York Yankees. I don't know who's you, but
Not
somebody's
me.
New York
Hey,
Yankees.
my Yankees.
That was such a great win, by the way, for
Verlander.
metrics.
Oh, okay.
Because, hey, you don't have to strike out 17 times and you can win.
You could just win.
Right? The home run ball was prevalent yesterday. But put the ball in play a little bit and some things happened too.
Maybe, yeah, sure.
And I think there's something to be said for that. Or you chase guys early out of the game, which nobody thought Tyon would go as long as Verlander. I think that's a good series. I really do. The Yankees are going to get hot somewhere along the way. They have not hit the ball well. Kasey, do you see this? Like 18 out of 21 or 18 out of 22 runs are off the home run, but they can't get anybody on base. I thought the Yankees have learned now why they can't win in the postseason. And they still can't get enough people on base for when they do hit the home run that it actually counts for something.
Yeah, they haven't figured it out. Just not smart enough to figure it out, or just don't have players that are going to do that. But Yeah, they score their runs on the home run, but Brent, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I played FIFA all night. I'd rather throw up consistently than watch the Yankees and the Astros. So I'll catch that series in the World Series, and I'll watch the Phillies and the Padres.
I can't believe how hated the Astros are.
I
don't
get
get
it because they were cheating.
Oh,
But
whatever.
when they're
Everybody
playing the
cheats.
Yankees, they're the heroes as far as I'm concerned. They are the better team. So
Okay, yeah, so everybody who hates the Astros, right? How many people, Kasey hates the Astros.
Okay.
But he sure as hell is fine with Barry Bonds being the home run champ.
Yeah.
all right, what's up with the hypocrisy?
What do you mean?
I mean, they both cheated.
Yeah, but in different ways.
What does it matter
You can't convince this because it matters. You can't convince me the steroid thing. Like, you could go take all the steroids you want. You're not going to be able to hit a home run in baseball.
Oh, it's not the home run. It's the recovery. Barry Bonds played until he was like 43 years old.
It's also the home run leg. It can turn a 400-foot fly ball out into a 400-foot homer.
But if you can't hit the 400 fly ball out, doesn't matter anyway. So, like, you can go give random guys steroids, and it's not going to be the same result.
But it's not like baseball is filled with 087 hitters. Like, these guys can make contact.
Well, it kind of is.
Especially the Yankees.
Yeah.
Speaking of baseball, we can get back to it later. I watched the Nolan Ryan documentary yesterday.
Oh, is it good?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Really?
And I hate this guy.
You hate
Fantastic.
him? He played for the Mets.
He beat up Ventura.
Oh,
That's
right.
my guy.
That's your guy.
That's
Imagine
my guy.
having your
And
guy
by the way,
be Ventura who had
hated
that
the Mets.
moment.
Yeah, no, believe me, I don't have to imagine it. By the way, he's the only guy who refused to do the documentary.
Oh, Ventura was?
Yeah.
I don't blame him,
I
by
don't
the way.
blame him either.
Good for him. We'll be back. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690 here on a Thursday. We'll be at String Sports Brewery tonight, by the way. We have Travis Etienne on the show. And also want to make you aware, which I think you already know, but October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Fields Auto Group is partnering with a group called Pink Ribbon Jacks to provide free mammograms for women in need. They're giving thousands of dollars this month to Pink Ribbon Jacks. And if you're in the market for a luxury car, go to Fields Auto Group in one of their locations, and $100 for every new car sold in October will also go toward Pink Ribbon Jacks. Stan Fields, president of Fields Auto Group, has been very philanthropic in his time at Fields Auto Group, of course, and they are doing it again. So you can visit any of the locations in the Jacksonville area. Lexus at Jacksonville and Orange Park, Mercedes-Benz at Jacksonville, Orange Park, Jaguar Land Rover Jacksonville, Porsche Jacksonville, Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and St. Augustine. Go see Barry Lamb, the GM at Mercedes-Benz at Jacksonville. If you're in the market for a luxury car, $100 of that new car will go toward Pink Ribbon Jacks, and thousands of more dollars in this month of October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, courtesy of Fields Auto Group and you. Fields Auto Group is a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars. FieldsAuto.com.
The Last Waltz Tour 2022 is coming to the St. Augustine Amphitheater on Friday, November 18th, and ESPN 690 has tickets to the show. Log on to ESPN690.com and get tickets to The Last Waltz 2022, featuring Warren Haynes, Jamie Johnson, Kathleen Edwards, Don Was, Dave Malone, Cyril Neville, and more on The Last Waltz Tour 2022.
On Friday, October 21st, AEW Rampage returns to Daly's Place for the last time in 2022.
We're live at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, home of the Jags.
Experience what All Elite Wrestling is all about, live and in person.
Oh, my God!
MJF.
I'm better than you, and you know it.
Saraya.
I am the revolution.
John Moxley.
You better step up and get stepped on.
Bryan Danielson. Claudio Castagnoli. Dr. Britt Baker. DMD.
I'll fight all of you right now.
Orange Cassidy. The Acclaimed.
Everyone! Nick!
In our glory. Hook. Hangman Adam Page.
Hangman's in the house.
Jade. FTR.
Top guys out.
Tony Storm. Wardlow. Darby Allin. Chris Jericho. And the Jericho Appreciation Society.
And that's entertainment.
And many more will be there live. Don't miss AEW Live at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now and start at $20 plus fees. Go to AEWTIX.com right now. Card subject to change.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you, with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Winning is in the cards at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, and a sports bar, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Play in the $60 no-limit hold'em tournaments on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Or try our game tables like 1-card poker, 3-card poker, and Ultimate Texas Hold'em. You can also watch your favorite football games with the NFL Sunday Ticket at our sports bar. Visit Best Bet St. Augustine, located at 800 Marketplace Drive in St. Augustine, Florida.
If you play a sport or coach a sport or watch a sport in Jacksonville, there's a really good chance that uniform was ordered through Baker Sports. Look good, feel good, play good. Custom sports apparel at Baker Sports since 1997 and a staff that wants to help you. They are experts in the business and make outfitting your team a seamless endeavor. The homegrown Jacksonville business is now the top choice for apparel all over the Southeast. Baker Sports, uniforms, hats, shoes, embroidery, screen printing, and 3D printing. They do it all at Baker Sports, helping make your team look good.
Okay, 3 more climbers, 7 loggers.
Ted's sustainably sourced logging company is growing a new branch.
What about truck driver contracts?
Which means a new HR manager will be the first hire to fall.
Then we'll need to staff up the warehouse.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When Big Mobile charges you an arm and a leg, they're taking your money and your power. And your arm and leg. Boost Mobile gives your power back with an unlimited plan for $25 a month on one of America's largest 5G networks. We can't give you back your arm and your leg because we're not qualified surgeons. Unless you're an iguana who can grow limbs back. Switch to Boost and get an unlimited plan for $25 a month. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power. New customers only. One line, $25 per month with autopay. Additional restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com for details.
Mom, can we have some ice cream?
I've got a better idea. Who wants to help me make something fun and healthy instead?
Eating smarter is easy and delicious. Interested in receiving healthy recipes and a whole lot more in your email? Then register at healthiestweightfl.com and learn more about all the small steps that you can take on the way to living healthy. This message is sponsored by the Ounce of Prevention Fund of Florida, the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Tailgate for a good cause ahead of the Jaguars-Giants game this Sunday. Head to the Duval House, a short walk from the stadium, starting at 10:30 for a tailgate benefiting the Tom Coughlin J Fund Foundation. Drinks, food, prizes, and games provided. Proceeds help the J Fund patients and families who are tackling pediatric cancer. Donations will be greatly appreciated. So join ESPN 690 this Sunday and support the J Fund and tailgate at the Duval House.
It's the Blitz Scoreboard Show every Friday night at 9 p.m. on ESPN 690. Join Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and the Hall of Famer Kevin Sullivan for scores, analysis, interviews, and live video of games on the ESPN 690 social media platforms. Brent and Friends is back. ESPN 690, Aaron Schachter hanging out with you guys. Brent Martineau across the table. Brent Martineau, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just watching you and Kasey with these wry smiles, and I wonder what just went down in the last 2 minutes.
We physically
while
can't
I was
tell
on
you.
the phone.
Kasey-
I'm sure you can.
Kasey was worried.
I kind of have an idea.
Yeah,
No,
Kasey
believe
was
me, whatever
worried.
you're thinking is not it.
Oh, wow. Okay, then I have no idea. Because I thought I was like on the money.
I was explaining to Kasey my plans for tonight.
Oh, that's not even what I was talking about. We talked about something else too. But
There's a lot discussed in that break.
There's a lot
I know.
of
How long
disgust
was
is
that
right.
break?
A lot of
How long was the
disgust.
phone call?
Hey, we're going to go football crazy right at 5 o'clock. We got Ducky Bets coming on 5:30.
Ducky!
Get your kicker props ready. And we also have Jordan de Lugo, so we'll go inside the numbers a little bit and where the Jags, again, brought it up at the top of the show, 5.6 yards per carry the Giants are allowing. I mean, that has to be a key focal point. That's an astonishing number 6 games into the season that they are giving up. So
To
will
be
teams-
5-1 to have that number hanging
Really,
on
that's
you.
a great call. I mean, and running, I had this tweet last week. Saints, Ravens, Jags ran for over 200 yards and all lost. I mean, the whole run the football, stop the run. I'm giving you examples that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, where's Mojo at? I
Like,
thought it
does
cured
that
all the
matter?
ills.
I told them that on Monday. By the way, you can go back and listen on the podcast and on YouTube to all the interviews, of course, on Action Sports Jacks and with our show. But so we'll talk more about all that stuff when it comes to this football game, which I think is a massive game. You got to keep people engaged, Jags. I mean, you got to keep them right there. I think you got to win the next 2, get to 4-4, because I think they're capable. That's the thing. This isn't like pie in the sky. I think we know they can win these games. They've got to be able to do it. So we'll talk more about it. Before we do that, just a quick couple minutes. The NBA season has started.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a huge deal yesterday in the NBA. Paulo Banchero,
Big
Magic,
game.
huge game.
Big game.
Zion Williamson back.
Good game.
Big game. I feel like it's under the radar. You know, today is one of those days, I guess, where all the 4 major sports play.
Yeah, it's a rare one of the days on the calendar.
It does not happen. I don't know how many times it happens, but it does not happen.
Can't be a lot, yeah.
And so it's a cool sports day. I mean, you got the NFL with Thursday Night Football. You can hear it right here on ESPN 690. And then, of course, you got some Major League Baseball playoffs. NBA season just tipped off. Hockey is underway as well. But, Kasey, I know you and Brian Middleton talk a lot about hoops sometimes. We don't usually on this show. And I think that's what's significant. It caught my attention. Got the number 1 overall pick in Banchero. We know what that's like here in Jacksonville. That is an important pick. He looks the part, man, right away. I mean, I'm not sure he had to go 25, 9, and 5 or whatever he did.
5 and 5.
He didn't have to do that to be like, oh, he's the guy. But I thought it was a big moment, and I think it's a bigger moment for the entire NBA that Zion Williamson's back playing finally, and maybe he's good.
Maybe he is good. Yeah, I think it is good to have your young superstars playing well. So, yeah, for the Magic at least, the people in New Orleans, sorry, I don't really care about you, but the people in Orlando and Jacksonville and Tampa, if you like the Magic, like that's a good first step. It looks like you made the right pick. It looks like he might be the guy. I know it's only 1 game in, but granted, the guy that was drafted after him,
not playing
he's
all
not
year.
going to play all year, so
Yeah.
you're not going to have to compete at least with that problem.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, I think it was a good step for the Magic, and I like their team. Obviously, still work to do, but I like what they've built.
And the Magic haven't been around forever, obviously, but 3 of their biggest draft picks in the history of the franchise outside of this past year's pick, Shaq, Penny, Dwight Howard, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of them scored 12 in their debut. I thought that was a weird stat.
That is interesting.
And then here comes Paolo with 25, 5, and 5. That just shows you what a big game it was for this guy.
It was the biggest game, I think. I don't know if you guys haven't mentioned this yet, but LeBron, first time since LeBron James.
Since LeBron.
Right?
LeBron James.
Which is significant. And that was interesting. I didn't see that stat, by the way, in those other number 1 guys. But again, Orlando Magic have to change, man. You talk about, like, I've talked about the Jags, and we talk about the Jags, how bad they are, but over the years. But the NFL Shield is so big. The irrelevant franchises in the state of Florida have been really the Orlando Magic and, I would say the Florida Panthers, because I don't even think people know that exists. So, but
trash organization.
But I mean, Orlando in a big market.
Hey, you could possibly lump the Marlins into that a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know. They had Derek Jeter. They've had some catastrophe there that people. I mean, they've had good players.
They've been to the series.
I mean, they traded away a few. They've won
Marlins have
twice.
won twice.
They've won twice. Like, the Rays have been good recently. I'm saying everybody's had their issues, but Orlando's in this huge market in the center of the state, in a destination place, and the Magic have been just brutal.
Yeah, a wee bit poopy.
Yeah, they get almost close to being close, and then it all falls apart every time.
Very accurate. Almost close to being close.
Because they've been to the finals once.
Yes, it's been a minute.
But, like, you're not even getting close in off years.
No, but now they have dudes that are young and good. Like, before, you had, like, Fournier, who was, like, okay
But back
at
when
best.
Gordon was a rookie, and then Markelle Fultz and some of these other young guys, like, they had young guys that were good.
Aaron
Fultz on the
Gordon,
cleanup,
again.
you know?
Like, Aaron Gordon, like, he was a good player. You're not wrong, but, like, is Aaron Gordon going to carry you there? No.
Not necessarily. I'm just saying they had a young, good roster, good enough to be a playoff team, certainly to go deep if these guys stuck together 2 or 3 years, but it just, in a very magic way, fell apart for them.
Here's the thing. I feel like we never talk about the Magic up here.
That's it.
Last night on TV, I put the Magic in. Because I thought
following.
Banchero was significant.
It is.
I actually had
And they were playing Detroit.
I'll tell you this. I had Phillies and Padres in there to talk some base, just throw something in from a baseball standpoint. And a lot of the games were on Fox. The World Series is going to be on Fox. So kind of did it from that. Nobody cares about the Phillies and Padres around here, probably. But then I substituted it out late once I saw Banchero had the big night and was watching it. I mean, again, they have to do some of that.
Yeah.
In Orlando, if they're doing sports radio, I guarantee you they talk about the Jags sometimes because it's the NFL. No, there's no doubt.
I would talk about
by the way,
Bucs if I were them.
I mean, you talk about the Bucs, it's a little bit
well, they
better
talk
of a
about them all.
franchise
They do. They talk about them
focus
all.
on, yeah.
But I guarantee you the Jags come up. In way more than the Magic come up here, is my point.
Sure.
They're 2 hours down the road, and we don't talk about them.
2.5.
That's how irrelevant they are.
It's fair.
It would be nice to see them relevant. This isn't like a negative thing on the Magic. I mean, it's been negative, and we know how that works around here. I just would like to see them relevant.
I do think some of that has to do with the fact that it's not necessarily a basketball market. I keep going back to this memory because I was so shocked. But when Team USA came through, I think it was with the Redeem team and played at UNF, because I saw that in the documentary, but I saw them at the arena practice as well. You're talking guys like Kobe and LeBron, like Hall of Famers, first ballot Hall of Famers, top 50 all-time guys. I think the arena was like half full.
I think if the Magic were good, I think you'd see more Magic shirts around. I think you'd want people to go down. I think you'd
I don't disagree.
I'm not saying it would
Take
be
the
a
show
wave.
on the road.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a wave of it. I'm not trying to sell that.
Okay.
I'm just
Stuck in
saying
traffic
I
on the
think you
way.
could feel it. I think you could feel it a little bit. It would be worth going down for a trip if they were good for a couple of years in a row.
Get the RV ready.
The Martineau RV. The Martineau Mobile.
Football at 5 coming up next. We talk Jags and football at 5. On the way on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
Bono's Pit Barbecue. Yeah, it's good, and you know it's good. It's more than food. It's about the flavor, the tradition. It's barbecue, and it's who they are at Bono's. Locally smoked since 1949. Almost 20 locations around Jacksonville. And on the menu, smokehouse stackers, sandwiches, salads, sides, and Bono's family feasts. Authentic, traditional Southern barbecue. Feel the flavor. Feel the community. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Do you make a purchase just because it's cheap? Never, right? So why would you ever purchase a do-it-yourself security system just because it's cheap? Right now, some companies say you can buy a refurbished one for a whopping $206. Refurbished means the last family found it unacceptable, and now they want to pawn it off on you. And that's more upfront money than SafeTouch security charges for their Advantage package, which includes a two-way communicator. And the SafeTouch system includes free installation by SafeTouch professionals. After all, you're the least experienced security installer you know, right? SafeTouch gives you 24/7 UL-approved monitoring in their very own central station right here where you live. So the do-it-yourself system has cheap, non-professional equipment, comes with no Florida license, and wholesale who-knows monitoring. SafeTouch Security comes with the finest equipment available, certified installers, and monitoring right here in Florida, with a lifetime warranty on parts and labor. Call 888-723-8682 or visit safetouch.com today. State license number EF0000233.
Did you know that the air in your home can be much worse than the air outdoors? In fact, the EPA lists indoor air quality as one of the top 5 health threats in America. Zero Res can help. Cleaning air ducts is all about power. The more power you have, the more air you can move, and that's how you clean air ducts. Our truck mount system moves over 1,500 CFMs to pull out all the dirt and debris out of your home. Right now, Zero Res is offering $50 off the cleaning of your air duct system. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Buying or leasing a car in Jacksonville is the best with Fields Auto Group, Jacksonville's luxury auto group. Lexus of Jacksonville and Orange Park, Mercedes-Benz of Jacksonville, Orange Park, Jaguar Land Rover, Jacksonville, Porsche, Jacksonville, Fields Cadillac, Jacksonville, and St. Augustine. If the luxury car you want isn't in stock, Fields Auto Group will order it. And at Fields, you'll never be charged over sticker price. Stop by a Fields store today and see what world-class service really means. Fields is a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fields Auto Group, fieldsauto.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
Doug Brown, including the regular season, the Astros have beaten the Yankees in 6 of the 8 games they've played. Houston leads the ALCS 1-0, leading into Game 2 tonight in Houston. Our ESPN radio coverage starts at 7 Eastern and is also on the ESPN app. Sunday, the 3-3 Packers play on the road against the 2-4 Commanders. ESPN's Dan Graziano says Green Bay is struggling and needs to figure out how to win.
They're going to need Rodgers and the offense to have sort of a surprise good game while they figure out how to stop the run on defense, right? Like that kind of. So right now, and against the Jets, all 3 phases were a mess. That's not going to work.
Dan Graziano on KJ and Max. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott says he'll start Sunday against the Lions. Today, he had his first full practice since breaking his right thumb in the opener. The Cardinals put wideout Marquise Brown on IR. He will miss at least 4 games with a left foot injury. Arizona hosts the Saints tonight.
Fall into a hiring spree with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! What are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Hit him! This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
What's happening in football at 5? We had Tony Khan on earlier in the show. We had Vince Papale on early in the show.
Invincible.
We have Ducky Betts coming on at 5:30. We are loaded up.
Come on.
By the way, we're going to be loaded up probably for the next week or so, trying to get a lot of Florida, Georgia players, former players, those kind of things heading into next week. We'll be in RV City with the RV. Wednesday, Thursday, probably Friday, do the show from there. I might do the show from our game of the week at Bishop Kenny instead. Still working on some of those logistical plans. Got a lot going on next week. So if I'm cranky, it's because we got a lot going on. Nah, I like it. I won't be cranky. Kasey gets cranky.
Easily.
You can get a little cranky.
Don't sugarcoat it. You can get a lot of it cranky.
No, you can get a lot. I was looking at you.
Oh, I'm the crankiest.
He didn't realize I was looking at him.
No, I did not. I was looking at Kasey deny. But I'm sitting here owning it is what I'm saying.
I love when, like, once in a while, like, it's probably not even crankiness, but I guess it could be that Kasey would be like, what's up with you today? To me.
Oh, to you.
Yeah. Like, once in a while.
You ever get the feeling he gets a kick out of whenever anyone else is in a bad mood? He's like, yeah, what's going on? But tell me all about it.
That big smile. Yeah. That's great. You know who's never cranky? Jordan de Lugo.
Oh.
Joins us from Generation Jaguar, genjag.com, Gen Jag on the YouTube channel. What's happening, Jordan de Lugo? Jag's going to get a win. I've guaranteed it. Do you believe me?
Do I believe you? Guaranteeing a win on a Wednesday? Thursday?
I did that Monday morning.
Now, if it was a Tuesday, you'd be all about it.
I did it Monday morning, to be honest. And I've done it every day since.
I love it. I love it. But I need to see who's playing in this game for both sides before I make my prediction on the final outcome. But, yeah, I'm glad that I have not been perceived to be too cranky coming on the show here. I appreciate
it. You get called out.
Not yet. You weren't cranky last week when you had a beer in your hand at Spring Sports Brewery.
That's right.
That's for sure.
Jordan, who are you thinking may shift the weight of the game to see who's playing and who's not?
Well, Foley Fatu Kasey, obviously,
Mostly,
the Jaguars' biggest interior run stuffer. The Giants They have a running back, Saquon Barkley. You may have heard of him. Jaguars haven't beaten an NFC team since Saquon Barkley's first career game.
Wow.
It also happened to be Josh Allen's first career game back in 2018. Yeah.
Wow. That's when it was.
So, yeah, I think –
Talk about a streaky.
Foley,
This team has more streaks than any other team I've ever seen. It's crazy.
So anyway, here this is a good transition to today's injury report for the Jags. I always think Thursday's a big teller in all this. Now, not all the time, because we've seen guys pop up on the Friday one, which is really odd that happens. And Jamal Agnew did not practice again. I think that's a key indicator that he ain't going this week, right, with the knee. Foley Kasey, limited. He's been limited. He's back on the field. I think you get the vibe that he's going to be back in there, but they're also going to be careful. They don't want to rush these guys back in. Devon Hamilton, he was on with a limited fashion last week, too, and ended up playing. I think he'll go. Marvin Jones been limited yesterday and today. I would assume he'll be back in, but the hammies are interesting. Saturday, you can go through a walkthrough, and the hammy doesn't feel good. Shaq Griffin did not practice both days. Shaq Griffin with the back injury is going to – I got to believe he's going to be out of this game. Again. And then Aluakin with the calf, he's been limited the last couple of days, but he was last week, too, and he ended up playing. So I guess we're just taking kind of guesses here, Jordan. But I think Kasey plays. I think Agnew's out. I think Shaq Griffin's out. And I think probably the rest of these guys end up playing. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think it's trending in that direction based on what you're hearing out of the building and obviously the practice statuses. But, yeah, if you can get Foley, I think that's a huge get. No one wants to talk about it, but Shaquille Griffin is the Jaguars starting outside corner opposite Tyson Campbell. I know he had a horrific game last week. We all witnessed it. Everybody knows it. But he's still a starting outside corner in the NFL for a reason. He's played a lot of years as a starter in this league. If he can't play, you ship Darius Williams outside where he's played most of his career. Put Trey Herndon there in the middle at nickel. I think that's what I would try to do, but who knows what they're looking at trying to do here at this point. That could be a big deal. Now, the Giants, they're down a lot of their receivers, right? Kadarius Toney hasn't been playing. Kenny Golladay hasn't been playing.
Yeah, both missed practice again today, by the way, yeah.
So at least if the Jaguars are down one of their top corners, you're not going against Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce this week, it doesn't look like.
Just say it. You're not going against professional level receivers.
I would never say that. Wandale Robinson, very talented.
Sure. And obviously Darius Slayton's pretty good too. But the point is not lost on me is the fact that this team is going to beat you with Saquon and not much else. Whether it's Saquon in the pass or Saquon in the run, they're going to beat you with Saquon.
Yeah, he's their leading receiver in terms of receptions. He's obviously their leading rusher. The Giants have run the ball more than they've thrown the ball this year. You don't see that often.
No.
That's not true, especially when you have guys like Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal on the line playing so well right now.
Well, there's another thing that doesn't make sense. We were just talking about this earlier. I want to get back to Kasey in a moment, too. But the Jaguars, or the Giants, give up 5.6 yards per carry, Jordan. 5.6 yards per carry. It's worse than the NFL. It's like the third most yards they've given up in the NFL rushing. They don't turn people over in terms of interceptions. They do in terms of fumbles. But then there's this enigma that the Jags ran for 243 and lost last week. The Saints ran for over 200. The Ravens ran for over 200. And they all lost last week running for over 200 yards, which I got to believe, somebody's sports bureau has to go check out. Like, if three teams lost in the same week in the NFL season when they've run for over 200 yards, it seems so unlikely in the history of the game. So, I mean, it's just some bizarre stuff happening this NFL season, and especially when it involves the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some of this stuff just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and some of the stuff with the Giants also doesn't make sense on the reverse side. You talked about the 200-yard game. The Ravens' 200-yard game was against the Giants, and the Giants won that football game. It's pretty incredible, just the dichotomy between these two teams, how one team has been unbelievable in the fourth quarter, multiple fourth-quarter comebacks, multiple double-digit comebacks, and the other team, the Jaguars, they have been not so great in the fourth quarter, right? They've had multiple leads in the fourth quarter, multiple big leads throughout games, and they haven't been able to close them out too often. Obviously, in week 2 and 3, they did get the job done, but other than that, they haven't been able to. You look at all the stats, it points towards the Jaguars being better. They're favored at home. You know, it's crazy, but the Giants are a team that when it counts in the fourth quarter are executing, and the Jaguars are not.
Yeah, just a couple plays away, and the Giants are making more of those plays. And as I've said all week, Jags seemingly making losing plays instead of neutral plays. Neutral plays would probably help. Jordan de Lugo with us here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690, football at 5. All right, back to Kasey, because this is something we kind of uncovered yesterday in our conversation, and it also sounds like just outrageous. But Kasey might be more critical to the defense than we know. Ever since he went out, the Eagles ran for over 200 yards starting in that second quarter. The Jags have not had a turnover on defense since he got hurt. They had 9 turnovers in the first 13 quarters with him healthy. I mean, I didn't think Kasey would be this big a deal, but it's either super coincidence or he is that big of a deal, Jordan.
I think he's a big deal. I don't know if he's that big of a deal in terms of if he plays, the Jaguars win. If he doesn't play, the Jaguars lose, which, I don't know. You could say coincidentally, you could say not coincidentally. That is how it's gone this year. When he's played the full game, the Jaguars have won. But I think when you look at it, the way he plays on the interior, he has so much strength and physicality, brute force. I just don't think you quite have that when he's not out there. I think you have guys that can play. You know, Roy Robertson-Harris can play, Devon can play, Corey Peters can play on the interior. But Foley brings it to another level, not just against the run, but also as a pocket pusher, and he makes it easier for Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker to have a good time out there as well.
Jordan de Lugo with us here on ESPN 690. Are the Jaguars just going to run the ball in this game? I mean, they just ran it really well. They like what they're doing. You have to be a little bit sensitive to the pressure of the Giants up front, and maybe even Trevor Lawrence making mistakes against some of that pressure. And I just told you about the 5.6 yards per carry. But we also know in the back of my mind as I'm asking this question, hey, Brent, Doug Peterson doesn't really want to do that. He's aggressive.
No,
he wants to
go. He's never done it this whole year.
But he has, though. And see, that's the thing. I think there's this, crazy narrative around him not running the football. He ran the ball 30 times against the Colts. They ran the ball, I think, halfway decent amount of times against the Chargers.
But the game was over against the Colts at halftime. Well, you're talking about the first game or the second game?
No, but they stuck with it.
This past week, they ran against the Colts.
They ran against the Colts. No, but even the first week, the first game, they ran against the Colts. They didn't have success, but they ran it 30 times against the Colts. He stuck with it.
A lot of that was after the big lead. But this past week, they did run the ball in neutral game script early on. They did. It was a more focused effort on it. Travis Etienne looked great. I think Doug Peterson's got to go back to the well against a team. You said they're allowing 5.6 yards per carry. That's the same thing Travis Etienne is averaging.
Crazy.
James Robinson's having a good year.
To your original point, Brent, you're not talking about in neutral game script. You're talking about overall. Do they just need to run and run and run against this team that is prone to getting gashed?
Yeah, and listen, it was a weird deal last week, right? I mean, you looked up and Matt Ryan had 40 attempts and Trevor Lawrence had 10 throwing the ball.
That's crazy.
But you obviously looked at the numbers, they were averaging at one time, in the second quarter, 15 yards a run, and then 12 yards a run, then 10 yards a run. They ended up for the game averaging 7 yards a run. Who the hell does that in the NFL? This isn't Oklahoma against SMU.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a weird number. So what do they have something cooking? And I want to also make this well known. The Colts were good against the run going into that game. The Colts were top 5. They did not have Leonard. They didn't have Kwity Paye.
But they haven't had Leonard for a while.
Yeah, they haven't. I actually asked a media member up there. I was like, is Kwity Paye this good against the run? Are they missing him? And
no.
For whatever reason, the Jags gashed him. I don't know if that means their offensive line is clicking and playing well or whatever, but you have to at least test that out against a Giants team that's given up 5.6. And I don't think they're going to go run for 243. I think the Giants know they've got an issue there, and they've got to address that too. But you have to at least try that out. And I think that's what's fascinating in this game is you have Doug Peterson, who likes to be aggressive. He wants to continue to develop the quarterback. He has faith in Trevor Lawrence too. But the numbers say go run the ball, Doug, this week. Then you got the other side. The Jags could not stop a crossing pattern, a crossing route, a whatever, They still would be trying to stop it here on Thursday if the Colts were still running it. Yet you know this, Jordan, that Brian Daboll doesn't want Daniel Jones dropping back and throwing more than he has to.
No.
He wants to give it to Saquon Barkley. So it's this weird test of wills versus what will work and what you do. And how will that play itself out on Sunday, I think, is kind of a fascinating storyline here.
Yeah, it is. Does Daboll come out and try to throw the ball as a tendency breaker early on in the game and then start feeding the beast in Saquon Barkley? Does Doug, like he did last week, just come out and say, we're going to run the ball. You got to stop us before we start trying to really air it out and see how it plays out. I do think if you're going to throw the ball against the Giants right now, what's working is middle of the field, short stuff, kind of what the Jaguars have been having to take lately. It's a different type of ball game. The reason middle of the field and short stuff is working against them is because they're blitzing so often against the pass. And so you just throw it right behind the blitz and you have an opportunity to be successful, but you got to get the ball out quickly. You got to be ready for the blitz. And I think the Jaguars will be able to do that. I think this is going to be a competitive football game on both sides. We'll see.
You know,
the Jaguars finally win a fourth quarter game.
We may find out this week. We talk a lot about Doug Peterson, what a great coach he is, and how the players respect him and love him. The organization loves him. But looking at the other sideline at Brian Daboll, who's getting a lot of love this year for the work he's doing in New York. If the season ended today, do you think he wins Coach of the Year, or do you think they give it to Sirianni? Because I think he's earned it more so far with the team he's got.
Daboll, 100%.
You're talking about a team that won 4 games last year and did nearly nothing in the offseason to upgrade. I mean, almost nothing. No big names whatsoever.
In fact, they downgraded their roster.
That's right. They got
tried
rid of
to get rid of
Bradbury
big contracts.
Evan Ingram, Bradbury, Jabril Peppers, a bunch of those guys.
Yeah.
So you draft Kayvon Thibodeau, who Kasey loved and wanted to see here. And then you draft the offensive line, Evan Neal, who started out a little rocky, but by all measures is starting to really come around. But it doesn't make the team 5-1. I think the job he's doing there, making these guys believe, has been insane. The question is, can it continue into this Sunday? Brent, clearly you don't think it can.
I don't. I just think these things even out over times. And I do think there are some exceptions to it. But again, the Jags are not a 2-4 team based on what they've been able to do within the game, right? The Giants, quite frankly, are on a 5-1 team. But it's worked out for them. I think somewhere along the line in a 17-game season, that kind of shakes itself a little bit cleaner to not make us as puzzled. I think that's why Vegas has the Jags as a favorite. I think envisioning this Giants team, the way they are built, the way they have played at 6-1, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like the Vikings, I'm not sure if they're very good. They're kind of up and down, but they're better. Like you can get behind a lot of the things the Vikings have more than the Giants. The Eagles make sense at 6-0. They've earned every bit of that. The Bills, they've earned their record. You might even feel like they're better than their record in that case. But not the Giants. I mean, again, we're talking 21 points combined in their 5 wins, guys. I mean, that does not make much sense. But I will say this, Jordan. I'm the president of the Sunshine and Rainbows Club here in town. And if they lose this game and you go on a 4-game losing streak and all the stuff that you can pull out and be like, hey, this is going better. This is better. This is better. And Aaron just sparked me here because he just said, hey, Doug Peterson's great coach, doing a great coaching job. I believe he is. But if they lose 4 in a row and they're 2-5, can we say that next Monday? I mean, what are we pulling at if the Jags lose to the Giants and are 2-5 on a 4-game losing streak, have lost 2 in a row, lost to Houston, lost to Indianapolis, and lost to Giants in a stretch where we thought there was a possibility they go 3-0. So I'm a little bit afraid of Sunday night if it doesn't go the Jags' way, Jordan.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. Doug Peterson is doing a good coaching job for the most part. I think he's got the full player buy-in. I think he's got these guys optimistic. I think they're ready to play. And we can talk about losing games and that being on coaching, but I think that these players have been in position to succeed in every single game and in every single fourth quarter, and they have been making boneheaded mistakes. That's the bottom line. At some point, they've got to quit doing it. They got to quit beating themselves. And so unless Doug just has some sort of horrific game from a game management standpoint or something like that, I won't be pointing the finger at him. I don't think. So far, it's been execution. It's been the players not making the plays or making poor plays. So I wouldn't expect that to change if the Jaguars do lose. But, yeah, 4 straight is tough to swallow, but so is 3. So
that's a good point. I'll give you one more reason why, too, right? Daniel Jones is an embattled quarterback. I don't put a lot of stock in the quarterback matchups, but Trevor, who has had 3 good games this year, had a big moment last week. He's lost to Davis Mills a couple of times. Lost to Zach Wilson last year.
Whoa,
he lost to
easy.
Carson Wentz, who many people are like, why does that guy still playing? You know what I mean? Like, he lost to 500-year-old Matt Ryan, whose arm fell off after the game. Like, I don't know. I just feel like sooner or later, Trevor's going to have to beat these guys. Like, and it's not all on him. It certainly is not. Last week he delivered. But you know what I'm saying? It's hard to, when you lose too many of those, you don't want to have the resume stacked up against you.
Sure.
In these conversations. And right now, I think it is it's been a 50-50 year, Jordan, for Trevor. 3 good, 3 not so good. Out of those 3, really 1 terrible in Philadelphia. But you want to be ahead of that for Trevor, too. You want to continue to stack some of these. And that was a huge moment for him last week. And I'm interested to see if he can keep the momentum for the offensive side of things and maybe get it rolling even more and really look good Sunday at the bank. And maybe the other guy won't look as good, and the Jags defense will make him pay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Giants have been running mostly man. That's what they do. Don Wink Martindale, spent a lot of years in Baltimore, loves to blitz, loves to run man coverage. They are running some cover 3, some quarters, some other things, but not a ton of cover 2, and that's the primary coverage that Trevor's really struggled with this year. So I think you've got a good shot of having a good one in Week 7 at home.
All right, what you got coming up on GenJag.com, Generation Jaguar, as well on the YouTube channel? What are you spitting out this week?
Yeah, we just had the game preview that dropped earlier. I also dropped my top 5 players of the Jaguars 2022 season so far. So I'll have key matchups, bold predictions, and keys to victory coming up the rest of the weekend. And just hoping that they can end this streak and, give the fans something to be excited about.
All right, when do you do the top 5 broadcasters or something like that? Maybe we'll tune
top
into
5
that.
broadcasters, Brent's at the top of the list.
I'm not going to listen to any of your stuff, but if you ever talk about us, maybe I'll come on through.
Don't say me. You got to say put Clay Harbor number 1, right? I mean, that's
Right.
He's part of the podcast. Hey, Jordan de Lugo, good catching up. Thanks for sliding to the 5 o'clock hour today. We'll be back at it again next week. We'll see you Sunday at the bank.
Thanks for having me. Have a good one, y'all.
All right, that's Jordan de Lugo, GenJag.com, GenJag on the YouTube channel as well. Does good stuff with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and good to get his voice on the air here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. We're going gambling after this, huh? Ducky Betts up next.
Love me some duck.
What kicker prop are you taking?
It's got all kinds of props.
I think the Cardinals have to win tonight. I wanted to go Cardinals so bad in the Survivor pool. Couldn't pull the trigger. Can't do it, but they're going to win tonight.
You don't trust them? D-Hop's back.
Yeah, D-Hop's back. That's true. That'll be a big lift for them. We will be back with Ducky Betts, Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Don't forget Travis Etienne, Josh Allen tonight. Jaguars All Access, String Sports Brewery. I'm headed there next. And let me tell you about Trucktober at Nimnik Buick GMC. Now's the time to get into that new GMC Sierra, like the one I have, or it's a GMC Canyon, perhaps, that maybe you've had your eyes on with Nimnik's best price guarantee and 0% APR for well-qualified buyers through the month of October. Stop by the showroom, view the inventory online at Nimnik Buick GMC. Through the month of October, Nimnik Buick GMC is giving $1,000 bonus cash to all first responders on eligible new Buick and GMC vehicles. New inventory on the lot, ready for delivery. Nimnik has more models on the ground than they've had in over a year. So make sure you go check it out. Stop by the showroom on Phillips Highway, just south of I-295, or go to Nimnik Buick GMC.com. Do you live in the Jacksonville Beach or Ponte Vedra area? Nimnik Buick GMC now offers mobile oil changes in the local beach communities. Nimnik will come to your home or office, change your oil, rotate your tires, and top off your fluids. To learn more and schedule your mobile oil change, visit Nimnik Buick GMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690. Sweaters, jackets, and coats again tonight under clear skies as we drop into the lower 40s, but a beautiful Friday with lots of sun and an afternoon high around 75. For the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Save thousands on buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 23rd.
Hey, poker players. Best Bet Jacksonville has another exciting poker tournament series for you. The Card Player Poker Tour is coming to Best Bet Jacksonville from October 27th to November 14th. This tournament series is packed with excitement and features 15 different poker tournaments, including a $1,700 mystery bounty event with bounties ranging from $500 up to $50,000, and the $3,000 no-limit hold'em main event from November 11th to the 14th. Go to bestbetjax.com to view the tournament schedule.
Do you make a purchase just because it's cheap? Never, right? So why would you ever purchase a do-it-yourself security system just because it's cheap? Right now, some companies say you can buy a refurbished one for a whopping $206. Refurbished means the last family found it unacceptable, and now they want to pawn it off on you. And that's more upfront money than SafeTouch security charges for their Advantage package, which includes a two-way communicator. And the SafeTouch system includes free installation by SafeTouch professionals. After all, you're the least experienced security installer you know, right? SafeTouch gives you 24/7 UL-approved monitoring in their very own central station right here where you live. So the do-it-yourself system has cheap, non-professional equipment, comes with no Florida license, and wholesale who-knows monitoring. SafeTouch Security comes with the finest equipment available, certified installers, and monitoring right here in Florida, with a lifetime warranty on parts and labor. Call 888-723-8682 or visit safetouch.com today. State license number EF0000233.
It is Trucktober at Nimnik Buick GMC, and now's the time to get into that new GMC Sierra. Hey, I've got one of those, or maybe it's a GMC Canyon, and you had your eyes on it. Now's the time to do it. Nimnik's best price guarantee, 0% APR for well-qualified buyers through the month of October is happening. Stop by the showroom. Visit online, nimnikbuickgmc.com. Also through the month of October, $1,000 bonus cash to all first responders on eligible new Buick and GMC vehicles. Visit nimnikbuickgmc.com for eligibility. GMC, we are professional grade.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Ready to swoop in the fall of 2022? The UNF Ospreys are ready with a lot of momentum on campus. New improvements at UNF Arena with basketball season right around the corner and tickets already on sale. The fall schedule underway in volleyball and men's and women's soccer, also men's and women's cross country. Get the latest news, schedules, results, and information on tickets for all things Ospreys at unfospreys.com. Join the Osprey Club, attend a game or a match. Be a part of the momentum at the University of North Florida right now at unfospreys.com.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, radio has been called theater of the mind, so let's tell a story with sound effects. Wow, it's like I was in the story. Almost makes me forget this was supposed to be about saving big with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstart batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
Auto Parts.
Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays, 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends back, ESPN 690. Also live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Twitter. I believe we're back on Twitch. Case, live on Twitch?
We never left Twitch.
Never left Twitch. Live on Twitch. Everywhere. Radio, online, on air. Bring it. My name is Aaron Schachter. Behind the glass, the voice you just heard, the Red Menace himself, one Kasey Kurtz. Brent has left the building.
Thank God.
Now the fun can start. Dad is gone. What will we do? How about bring the mallard of money making in? One Mr. Ducky Betts. Good afternoon, Duck.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
For those who don't know, Ducky likes to join us every Thursday to talk a little bit of betting, kicker prop bets, and other betting things, assorted betting subjects and topics. Ducky made his bones with these kicker props. He's got a big forecasting model that he works off of an Excel sheet, Duck. It's so funny to me when people go, "Oh, how do you do this? It sounds so complicated." And you're like, "I just use Excel." It's like, really?
Yeah, man. Look,
like I was doing math.
Brain, you know.
I was gonna say I was doing math homework on that thing in like 7th grade. You're using it for like betting forecasting models, but if it works, it works, right? What are you gonna do?
If you try hard enough, anything can work, man.
I'd like to believe that, although I'm not there yet. So tell me about how you did last week, because you came on here, you gave us some tips, and then you go back to the duck pond and you share some more info with your folks. Any big wins from last week you want to brag about?
Well, look, I'm just very, very happy that every time I go on your guys' show, it seems like I just sweep every time I come on here, man. So I'm loving that. I might as well just only bet on the stuff that I say on this show, because
I mean, that's what we do.
I think we're 6 for 6 now, right? Because Kasey's bankroll is looking nice, I think.
Kasey's got to be hitting you up when he makes these bets and giving you proof of performance or something. Okay, so you making money off a Duck?
Not too bad. The kickers are making the kicks, Duck. I appreciate the insight. We'll take some more notes as we go along with it. But if I check my calendar, it's Thursday Night Football, Duck. I saw there was no free advice on the Twitter just yet.
Oh,
what
no.
Are you locking in for on Thursday Night Football, man?
You know what the problem is? That sometimes when I'll post something on my Patreon, and then the line will move so much that I just can't post it on Twitter, because then people will freak out on me. They'll start sending me messages like, "Where the heck did you get this line?"
Yeah.
And like think I'm lying, but I'm really not lying. I really just posted it this morning at like 6 a.m.
And the line's moved that much since then.
Sometimes, man. Look, I just saw a tweet right now that, you know, the play I'm on right now, it's Juwan Johnson over 25.5 receiving yards. And I have a whole reason for it. But I saw that there's 100% of people on the over on BetMGM, and I think that's because of me, because that's where I told people to take it.
Yeah.
So,
well, they're going to move that line, aren't they?
Yeah, who's out there buying on Juwan Johnson over receiving yards, honestly? But
it's got to be a little bit of a trip for you, Duck. It's got to be a little bit of a trip when you tweet these out or you put them on your Patreon, and then you actually see the action taking place. It's got to make you feel a little bit influential.
It's pretty cool, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's pretty cool. I like it.
What are you gonna do one day if some big beefy Vegas bodyguard shows up at your door and is like, "Hey, Mr. Bellagio would like to meet with you in the limo"?
Oh, look, man, I don't have a door. I live at the duck pond, so I don't know what you're talking about.
You hear him coming a mile away, tromping through the mud. So if you're not going to do the your wide receiver prop, do you have something you're going to put out there for the people? Maybe you could break some news on the show?
Yeah, I mean, well, I could just, I don't mind putting this out, because I would take this actually up to 30.5 receiving yards over the Juwan Johnson. He's actually the tight end for the Saints right now. And the reason why I like him so much is because every time that Adam Troutman, their starting tight end, is out, and he is out for tonight, Juwan Johnson, his target share spikes, his receiving yards spike, and the Cardinals are actually the second worst team against the tight end in the entire NFL.
That's crazy.
So Juwan Johnson has a really good matchup this week, and also he is third in targets, and this is including when he doesn't start he's third in targets on the entire team behind Olave and Kamara. So I think it's worth a shot on pure value alone. I also may have sprinkled a tiny little bit on him to score the first touchdown at plus 2,000, but that's, just for fun. So.
Just for fun. No, I hear you. But here's the thing, like, to your point, there ain't nobody left on their team. Michael Thomas is out. Chris Olave, I'm not sure what the status is, but, like, there's nobody else to get the football, so he's got to. But, Duck, on the other side, Hopkins is back for the Cardinals.
D-Hop.
You looking at that one at all? I know it's his first game, so it might take some time to get acclimated. Also, Kyler Murray's bad. But, like, any advice on what to do with DeAndre Hopkins tonight?
I feel like the line is fair, to be honest. It's set at 60, I think, or 61, like around there. I think it's a pretty fair line. I'm a little hesitant to play anything on him right now because we don't know what his snap share is going to be and how many snaps he's actually going to be playing. I'm going to assume he's going to play at least 80% of snaps, but I would avoid him for now. I'm just kind of avoiding the spread too. I was thinking originally of teasing up the Saints, but I'm not crazy about it, so I'm just going to lay off.
Yeah, last week, Duck, I saw a gigantic spread I meant to ask you about in the NFL, and then we didn't get around to it. But it was that Steelers-Bucks game. I think the Steelers were 14-point underdogs for the first time in something like 40 or 50 years. And, of course, as the NFL tends to do, the Steelers ended up winning by 2. So do you tend to
of course.
Do you tend to stay away from those big NFL lines, or do you sometimes indulge, even if it's a big number?
It really does depend. So, to me, I try to find, because you know how Vegas is very sharp. They're so damn sharp, and it's very, very hard to figure them out most of the time. So I just try to find like these little exploits that teams can take that will give you some sort of an edge over, I guess, the book, even though it's very hard to find an edge over the books. But in that regard, I'm very conservative. Like I've told you guys before, I told you guys last week, I'm a very conservative bettor. I usually try to stick anywhere, like no more than like 5 to 6 plays on a given night. That's what I try to do. Football Sundays is different because it's once a week, but with that regard, like Steelers, I laid off 100%. Not that I didn't believe in them or anything, and they were a home dog and everything, but I don't know. It's just one of those spots that it felt like a Brady revenge spot, and it just never happened. So I kind of just stayed away from that one.
Yeah, that's fair, Doug. Let me ask you this. You just said it. The NFL is confusing. Vegas is so sharp. So explain this one to me. Why are the Jags favored against the Giants, even though the Giants have a much better record? The game is in Jacksonville, but, Duck, we've been trying to figure this out all week. What's going on there, and what are you doing with it?
That's another one I'm laying off. Honestly, when I first saw it, it felt weird to me, and it almost felt like an auto bet on the Giants at first. And that's what gave me pause, because I was like, it's an auto bet on the Giants, right? But then the line moves from 2.5 to 3 in favor of the Jags. So then that's what made me like, oh, okay. So then the money's on the Giants and it's moving towards Jags. I mean, Jags might be the right side there, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right, And I guess Jags at home, it makes sense. The field goal game, I feel like the line is correct there. And I wouldn't want to tinker too much with it. Instead, if Devin Lloyd, our boy, the mid linebacker there, future defensive rookie of the year, maybe.
There you go.
If his line is set at around 5.5, 6.5 tackles plus assists, that's something I would be interested in possibly taking.
You got a couple of other interesting lines this week. I'd be curious to hear some of your feedback on it. Last week, we watched the Packers just get embarrassed by the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. Now they walk into this week's game against the Commanders in Washington, up 5.5 or plus 5.5 to the Packers, or I should say minus 5.5 to the Packers. They're the favorites. Like, do you really believe in Aaron Rodgers at this point still?
Hey, man, are you on my Patreon, bro? Because we already hit the commies for plus 5.5 yesterday, actually.
That's right.
Yeah, we're all in on the commies here. And the best part, the thing that I love is that there's so many people willing to just go on their bet slip and hit Commanders plus 5.5 and not even think twice about it. I love it. But yeah, no, honestly, the same reasons why I was on the Jets last week, I'm also going to be on the Commanders this week. Their pass rush is a 4-man pass rush, the same way that the Jets were. You saw how much Quinnen Williams just dominated.
Super disruptive.
That offensive line, that interior. Yeah. I, in my opinion, and this is coming from a Jets fan and a person who watches every single Jets game, I think Jonathan Allen is better than Quinnen Williams.
Wow.
So if Quinnen Williams did that, what do you think Jonathan Allen is about to do to that interior offensive line? And Yeah, and I personally think Taylor Heineke's a small step above Carson Wentz here. So I'm going to be on the Commanders this weekend, and I'm not even going to think twice about it. I think this should be a field goal game, and they're giving us about 2.5 points of value there. So I'm taking that every time.
You know,
I'm a home dog.
last week Tampa had the biggest line against the Steelers at minus 14. Sorry. Now they have the biggest line this week. This time against the Panthers, the pathetic Panthers. Buccaneers minus 10. Do you believe in Brady this week, or are they gonna crap the bed once again?
Yeah, you can't pay me to take either side.
Not even with Sam Darnold starting? I heard Sam Darnold's back in the building.
Dude, I can't, man. I can't. No, not this one. I would say value is probably on the Panthers here, just because the line is so big, and because who the hell are the Bucs to be getting this line? If we're being honest, especially this year. But I just feel like it's coming. Like it's loading up there in Tampa, and I feel like eventually they're going to have their blow-up game where they blow a team up by 30, and it could be this week. I don't know. I'm just not. That's one of those lines I'm just going to stay away from.
Duck, let's get back to the kickers. Justin Tucker, is he still number one on your list, or what do we got going this week?
Love Tucker, don't you?
Oh, man. I don't know if we could triple up on JT, man, but I'm not against him this week. He's actually third on my list, though, this time around. And I think part of that is because the Cleveland Browns kind of stink on defense now. So, yeah, that's part of it. I think that if they get into the red zone, they might get a little tiny bit more of a scoring opportunity than if they were facing a different team. So that's why I don't have JT number one this week. My number one actually is Dylan Carlson from the Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah, Houston Texans are the number 4 defense in the red zone right now in the NFL. And, Texans are feisty. AFC South, you know how they get, man. They're a little feisty down there. So, so I have Dylan Carlson as number one. I have him projected actually for 2 field goals. And he's perfect on the year, 15 for 15, 4 for 4 from 50-plus yards. So they trust him from 50-plus. I think they'll be able to move the ball. And red zone, they're pretty inefficient, the Raiders are. So I could see them getting a couple kicks from Dylan Carlson. I wish we could ladder field goals. I don't know if you guys know what laddering is, but I wish we could do that. That would be awesome.
That would be an interesting thing. Doug, let me ask you this as we move away from football a little bit. We got people in the chat asking, but I was also wondering, the NBA's back. I see you're hot on that as well. What's going on with the NBA just tonight?
Tonight, so I am on the spiritual son of Ray Allen, Grayson Allen, over points. It was 9.5 this morning. Yeah. I put a beautiful picture of him on my page. I saw it, but it's a great picture. So I'm on the spiritual son of Grayson Allen. Because every time that Chris Middleton is out, you just have to hit Grayson Allen's over on points. It's just like a thing that we did last year a bunch of times, and it hit at a very, very high rate for us. So we're just gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it rolling this year, man. Why not?
I like it. It works. Duck, let me ask you this one before we let you go. And feel free to be like, I'm not betting on the MLS, bro. That's cool. Listen, I did pretty well with the MLS in the playoffs. Do you dabble in that at all? Are you a soccer guy at all, or no?
I do not mess with soccer, dude. I think every single bet I've ever made on soccer I've lost, so I just don't bet it anymore. It's kind of like esports. I see people bet on CSGO. Not for me, man.
I got you. All good, Duck. You'll get there. You'll figure it out. There'll be a spreadsheet or something at some point.
I'm all for tailing. I'm all for tailing other people in soccer, but I just can't. I can't, dude. I'll watch it.
FC Cincinnati. Yeah. Trust me. Trust the process.
As always, Duck, we respect you and the work you do with your Excel sheet. We appreciate you coming on. If you want to find out more from Ducky Bets, if you want to find out how to win some cash, go visit him on Twitter at Ducky_bets or search Patreon, which is really what he'd rather you do because he's trying to get paid on this stuff. Ducky and the Duck Pond on Patreon, giving you the locks every single week. Ducky, we appreciate it. We'll speak to you next Thursday.
Ducks fly together.
That's right, man. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack.
See you, Duck. And with that, we'll take a small break. We'll come back, and I'll tell you the most ridiculous story to come out of the day. Breaking news from Ian Rappaport. We will get to it on the other side of the break. I'm so mad I could spit. Spit. Unbelievable. Trying to ruin my day, Kasey.
Oh.
We'll be back on Brent and Friends after this. Ian or ES? ESPN 690.
Mondays like nobody does them in Jacksonville. We start with MJD at 3.
I'm excited.
You should
I'm
be.
excited. I hope everyone else is as well, because this is a different team. And, as you look around the AFC South, everyone's starting to struggle a little bit. And so you just got to keep getting better each week.
And then Rasheem Mathis at 4.
As a Jacksonville community, we should be excited. We should be very excited. I love what I'm seeing. I love the passion. I love the aggressiveness. I love everything about the Jaguars and how they're playing across the board right now.
Catch them every Monday on ESPN 690.
This year, CGC Water Treatment is celebrating 75 years in business. Put their experience to work for you. Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. We did in our house. Absolutely love it. Have had it for years. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Call today and save hundreds, even thousands, on a complete home solution for city and well water. Financing available with approved credit. And because the professionals at CGC Water are committed to being your go-to water experts, you can trust their master plumber with all your plumbing needs as well. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I've been a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment for more than 5 years now. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
On the go, you own it. At Community First Credit Union, you can own it all. There's nobody quite like you, so be yourself and bank your way at Community First. Get free checking with rewards, your paycheck deposited a day early, and other benefits like Zelle. An easy way to pay family and friends for complete control of your money. Go ahead, own it. Add an account at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Having someone to talk to can change a life.
Cried out to her. She talked me through my depression.
Or even save a life.
I probably wouldn't be here at all. Not only in this room, but just not here at all if I didn't have the help.
If you need someone to talk to, Jewish Family and Community Services is here with in-person trained counselors or through teletherapy. JFCS is here for Jax. Visit jfcsjax.org.
I'm Mark Anajar.
I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine.
If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE.
Main office, Jacksonville. Don't miss the gun show at the Clay County Fairgrounds featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more with concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Clay County Fairgrounds in Green Cove Springs this Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
If you play a sport or coach a sport or watch a sport in Jacksonville, there's a really good chance that uniform was ordered through Baker Sports. Look good, feel good, play good. Custom sports apparel at Baker Sports since 1997 and a staff that wants to help you. They are experts in the business and make outfitting your team a seamless endeavor. The homegrown Jacksonville business is now the top choice for apparel all over the Southeast. Baker Sports, uniforms, hats, shoes, embroidery, screen printing, and 3D printing. They do it all at Baker Sports, helping make your team look good.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
Brent and Friends back on ESPN 690. I'm Aaron Schachter, with me, Kasey Kurtz. Couple of minutes left before we scoot, or I should say before I go. Kasey, you still got another 12 months to do on your sentence.
There we go. So what are you mad about, my friend?
Well, I'm mad over this report I'm seeing from Ian Rappaport. This actually started a little earlier today. If I could just rewind the Wayback Machine for a second. You guys know I like to, I'm a glutton for punishment. My Jets fandom. Turns out Elijah Moore was tweeting about his unhappiness, I think in response to a Rich Cimini tweet yesterday or the day before, something like that. Robert Saleh then makes comments. He speaks publicly. He says, I've spoken to Moore. We're handling it. Then practice today. Moore is nowhere to be found. Apparently, he got the day off, and it was more of what they're calling a football-related issue, a personal day, than injuries. Never a good sign. Then Ian Rappaport with this tweet. Sources say Jets Elijah Moore, frustrated with his role and usage, has asked for a trade. Team has no plans at all to trade him. Former second-rounder was targeted one time in the win over the Packers, but the play was negated by a penalty. Kasey, 6 games in.
Hey, goodbye.
I mean, maybe, but deserved to get him kicked. Now, they're not going to trade him. They don't have to. Why should they? And he's a talented guy. If they can use him to win, then fine. But who does that? 6 games in, a team that the world thought was going to win 2 to 5 games this year.
Yep.
You're 4-2. Mm-hmm. What are they, tied for first in the AFC East? What's the Bills' record? I think they're 4-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tied for first. Tied for first. Elijah Moore's like, want the ball. Forget 4-2. Forget about the fact that you're just crushing everybody's expectations as a team. Like, literally, your team that was the laughingstock for how many? It's off birth.
Let me ask you this.
What?
Is Elijah Moore going to get paid more because the Jets are 4-2, or is he going to get paid more because he catches 7 passes for 83 yards and a touchdown?
And if Brent was here, he'd be cursing you out so bad right now. Holy smokes.
Well, that's good because Brent's not here.
Using my logic against me. Yes, I understand the man's trying to make money. Yeah. Fine. But it's a team sport. You want to make money by yourself? Go play diving. Go play golf. Go join Live.
First off, talking about the team, right? The team did Elijah Moore dirty. The team drafted a wide receiver. Whether it was to take his spot or not, they drafted a guy in the first round, highly in the first round. So Elijah Moore's looking at that like, wait a minute, hold up. What are you doing? The disrespect? And listen, we saw that game that Garrett Wilson had early in the season with Joe Flacco. Okay, so we know who the number 1 target was. Elijah Moore feeling the disrespect. I did this for the crappy Jets? Huh? I was here when the Jets sucked, and you're going to do this to me? You're going to do this to me? He comes back, he said, that's my guy. 10 targets, I'm ready. And you don't even throw him the football, Zach Wilson? Well, I'm not even hiding my mom, and you can't talk to her. Get out of New York. Trade him to a team that cares about him. Unbelievable.
I feel like you threw in a couple of crappy Jets comments there for fun. Really wasn't necessary in your analysis.
I just started going. I was like, all right, this felt right.
All I'm saying is at the end of last year, if you look at that team, similar to the situation what you had going on in Jacksonville, maybe you liked a piece or two in that wide receiver room, but you didn't have the complete puzzle. Same was going on in New York. You had Corey Davis, you were paying as a number 1 at the time what number 1s were getting paid. Now it's a little higher tax bracket. But back then, they signed him as a number 1 receiver, and he was like a number 5 receiver. Moore looked okay in flashes. He looked good in flashes, has never, ever, ever put a whole game together. And so you're looking at Zach Wilson going, we're in year 2. We have no idea what we got. We have no pieces around him. So they went out and they got him one. Garrett Wilson's good. But it's not like they're throwing a Garrett Wilson 10 times a game. They're not. They're a running team. Just like we want the Jaguars a lot to be a running team. Like, sure, you want to see Trevor go 30 of 30 with 7 touchdowns, but if Robinson's running for 100 and Etienne's running for 100 or some conglomeration of the two, you're happy. Christian Kirk's going to be like, I want a trade. No.
Boy, if I'm the Chiefs, dialing it up.
They should make Elijah Moore.
Bills,
they should make Elijah Moore into a punter. A ball holder for the place kicker. What's that guy called? The backup quarterback who holds the ball?
The holder.
The holder. Make him the holder. Elijah Moore.
It's the only targets he's getting, so you might as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully it stays that way. You think Milf Hunter is going to throw him the ball now? No.
He's not even going to be on the field. If he doesn't show up to practice.
Yeah, he's not even at practice. You can't throw to him if he's not going to be at practice.
What a disaster going down in New York for the Jets. It's all over. The season's dead.
I believe that, by the way. You want to talk about a disaster, make sure you're watching Thursday Night Football. That's going to be an ugly game.
Yeah, the Saints and the Cardinals. The Cardinals are not a good football team. The Saints might be a little bit worse. The Amazon Prime curse continues. Okay?
Unfortunately for them, man, they're doing a good job. It's just bad games.
It's just not good football games. So I guess you can watch that, or you can listen right here on ESPN 690. If you don't want to have to watch it, listen to it in your car.
That's true.
ESPN 690, we have it Thursday, Sunday, and Monday Night Football. Aaron, have a good day. Have a good rest of your day.
I will not be able to.
Are you going to show up to work tomorrow?
Probably not.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out tomorrow. It's a tease. You'll have to find out tomorrow at 3. For Brent Martineau, for Aaron Schachter, I'm Kasey Kurtz. Have a good night, everybody.
Here at Rhino Shield, we've been protecting homes for over 20 years. We're your go-to coating company for repairing and coating stucco, but Rhino Shield is engineered for any surface. Our coating is perfect for any siding or other material used on homes, from stucco to vinyl, brick, wood, or hardy board.